Ready for the Foamstar party?
No. What's the matter, Beau? You're not ready for the Foamstar party? You know
what is a Foamstar?
Do you remember that game that came out? I think it's almost been a year now. The Square Enix game that we made fun of.
Remember when Square Enix was like, "Man, we're gonna get all the Squid Ink game money we could possibly make. People are gonna love foam," and nobody gave a shit.
No, I thought it was phone as in telephone.
Oh no!
Like, what in the Yakuza is this?
Yeah, dude. It's I was just reminded the other day, I was dinking around looking on YouTube and stuff, and I found this video.
What happened to this game?
It didn't really go very well, I don't think. I mean, it's still, people are playing it. You know?
I'm on the website. Foamstars free to play. Well, you know, when you're a kid, I mean, you just see a game and you're like,
people are gonna love foam.
Yeah.
Check out our foam.
And the names of some of these characters, you got Tonics.
Yeah, Tonics.
Justice.
Mm-hmm.
You got Penny Gwyn, Ravebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
The Baristador.
I'm sorry, the what?
The Baristador.
That's a door to a barista's door?
Yeah. Mel T, Chloe Noir, Coif Guy.
What?
Coif Guy, yeah. Ramsey and Bublo.
Well, this is Square. They have a long history of naming things shitty, but
I don't know. This looks like a big pile of no thank you.
Yeah, they were trying to get some of that, like John said, trying to get some of that
wasn't it Splatoon?
Splatoon,
yeah,
that
Splatoon
like?
money. Yeah.
Big Splatoon money, Squid Ink money. Didn't happen for him. And there's a video trying to explain to me, this was how I ran into it, that was trying to say, hey, a year later, it's really good and it's healthy and it's all this. And I'm like, I feel like I'd be hearing about it. Something, you know.
Yeah, you're trying to
love
force
our
it.
foam. I guarantee it.
Like the men's warehouse.
I mean, you never know. There might be a community. Like that's one of those weird things. Speaking of things on YouTube, there's a audio music producer channel. It's fairly big that I like to watch. You ever heard of like a Rick Beato?
No, Rick Beato.
He interviewed like some Nirvana and Soundgarden guys, and you know he's older, but he was he's I guess still got his in the industry. I don't know. It's a popular channel, but he was just saying like, you know, music used to be, there was this like narrative that the industry would make. You'd all know about the big stars, right?
Right.
And the big sales. And now it's like they're still selling well, but you won't know. Like, I don't know anybody who listens to Taylor Swift, and I don't think anyone's ever been as popular as Taylor Swift, but you just don't hear about it anymore.
Oh, it has a name for this.
Because we're
then.
like,
yeah.
It's like there's these fandoms that are just religious, and like they hear about all the things. They're in their discords and talking about it, or like you know, with Nicki Minaj, you'd hear about the Barbs or whatever.
Sure, but
like you don't really hear about these things anymore, so you never know. Like there's just stuff that's like crazy popular, and now it's not. No one's gonna be chatting about it at your work, or you know. Until something really big bubbles up. But
it is true. It's weird. Like I'm always marveling at how like my stepdaughter knows music and stuff, because she's almost like a walking Spotify. You can be like, hey, who's saying this? And she'll tell you what the song is and who's saying it. But she's an outlier. And
if she's a walking Spotify, tell me that she also kicks podcast episodes out arbitrarily because it thinks it's content that
yes,
I don't have the rights to. Okay,
she does,
all
Scott.
Right,
it's her fault.
Fantastic.
So anyway, I always think about it though, because I'm like, you know, the way I discovered music as a kid was listening to, you know, the radio, and it was like, oh, this is what's popular on the radio, and you go to the stations that have the music that you like, and there's a lot less of that serving up random music these days. And I got a YouTube video that was like, hey, here's songs you know but you don't know where they're from, and we're going to tell you where they're from. And as I was watching one of those videos, I was like, one, I know all of these songs and I know where they're from, but two, what I realized is this was probably put together by a younger kid, because every single one of the songs that was on here is used in memes.
Oh yeah,
and they just don't know where it's from. Yeah. Like they hear it all the time TikToks in association with like a TikTok or an Instagram or something like that. And it's like, here's this song, but they don't know where it's from because it's just that song that plays inside their favorite meme. They think is funny, so they don't know that it's actually part of a bigger song from this. And
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting too, because there's not a lot of carryover and understanding of what these songs are in that regard too.
Yeah, I was listening to like today's greatest. I have YouTube Music. I was listening to today's hottest dance something hits things that came up randomly. I'm like, just play that. I'm going to shower to this and turn on the speakers and stuff. And every song had an initial 8 to 10 seconds that were looped in a million videos I've seen on TikTok or Shorts or somewhere else, and that's all I've ever known them from. It kind of ruins the rest of it. I don't want to. It's not that they're bad. It's just that if I've already heard this thing looped a billion times on viral Shorts, and then I'm going to go listen to the full song it's based on, it's kind of just, it's really weird. It throws me off. I can't do it. It's a little like when you guys hear, like if you're walking down the street and you hear this, you hear that guy, right? You're going to go, immediately it takes you to core and takes you to gaming. Like you just immediately are there. Whereas other people are going to hear that and go, whoa, what's that? Why is that guy yelling Robert? Who's Robert? Like they got all these questions. So I think there's a similar thing going there. And I have 2 nieces that love Taylor Swift, eat, sleep, and drink everything she does, been to 2 of her era tours, all that stuff. Outside of those 2 girls, I don't really know anybody.
It's not like you think about like the things we would remember, like Michael Jackson and Madonna. It's like I don't even know if I like these guys, but they're on Entertainment Tonight. And,
I don't even know if I like Entertainment Tonight.
Well, we never liked it. I mean, that was traditional TV too. But or like Bryan Adams. Just like think of like
Summer of '69, baby.
You just know about them. You're like, I don't like this stuff. I'm into this stuff, but that would be in the newspapers and the narrative because the way we communicated was very like, there was just that's literally where the notion of mainstream comes from.
Are you the
mainstream of information?
Are Canadians proud of the legacy of Bryan Adams and his time on Earth?
He doesn't come up, but I think. Yeah, Bryan Adams, I think, is a cool
That's what
guy.
I think of when I hear Bryan Adams. Is that one line in the South Park movie? That's the whole thing. That's all
You didn't watch. You weren't around for Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, starring Look.
Oh yeah.
No, I do actually. Yes, that is true, and I hear that song a lot because we have a keyboard, an electronic keyboard that has those. It will play songs on it automatically, and the number 1 song on there. So if you set it to song, which my son loves to do, is that song.
Yeah.
And so I hear it.
I hear
true.
it,
baby. You're
everything
true. I did it for you.
I do it for you.
Look, Summer of '69 is like a all timer. Right?
Yeah, that's another one.
That's good.
It's a banger.
Yeah, it's a good. I'm not smack talking him. I like him.
No. Yeah, Bryan Adams, he's fine. But like he was part of the mainstream. And I think all 3 of us have like taste outside of what Johnny Schmo on the Hot 49 or whatever.
Johnny Schmo's Hot 49.
Like top 40, Casey Kasem on the top 40 countdown on Saturdays.
12 years ago this week.
That is pretty
One
good.
man.
That's not bad. That means you can do a Shaggy or a
You would think so, but no.
Oh,
Shaggy.
Well, because Casey Kasem played Shaggy and he also played Robin from the Super Friends.
I thought you were talking about It Wasn't Me guy.
Oh, it wasn't me, not him.
We did it
in the shower.
It wasn't me.
This week.
That's a good song, though.
Something on the counter. It wasn't me.
Can you imagine being a guy who just makes a song about cheating on people and it's like the whole world knows it?
And the weird places he's doing it. You know what I mean? Like,
and he's sung plenty of other songs, had a full career, but all we know.
Wait, that's a Shaggy song, or is that somebody else? Because Shaggy's the
Shaggy. And he had a good guest feature.
Okay,
that's the cadence. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man! All right. Well, we've really gone places.
He has a distinct sounding voice, so that's
that is true.
I know what you're saying.
Hey, I have some Kojima beef. Can I throw some of that out real quick?
Of the mainstream,
throw the beef on the grill here. Let's see what cooks.
Kojima beef this week is this, and Beau said it very well. Speaking of mainstream, maybe it's translation. Maybe it's something else. I don't want to judge too harshly, but there's this quote going around everywhere that says Hideo Kojima made significant changes to Death Stranding 2 because playtesters thought it was too good and he didn't want it to be too mainstream. So he changed a bunch of stuff to make it less good.
I definitely need a translation on this one.
I read the headline and I was with you. I read the article and I was like, oh, I guess I can kind of see what he's saying.
Oh, he's with Kojima. Oh,
now,
change sides.
like, here's the thing, a little bit. I'm
joking. I'm just
like on a surface level, somebody going, hey, because in theory, right? If you make a video game, the goal is to make a good video game. Because people are really good at making not good video games.
Yeah,
if you have
want
a good
one.
video game, you should celebrate it.
Lean into it.
Good.
Yeah.
But as I read the article, and again, the context around what he's saying is that it sounds like a lot of the changes weren't necessarily like gameplay, but that it had to do with the story and where they were just being like, nope, it's meeting all my expectations and not challenging me in any way. Because he talks about how he wants the story to be challenging to people. Like, he doesn't want you to just go, oh, that fulfilled my every wish narratively, and I'm content with it. I started thinking about it, and so I just did a giant core bonus content for our patrons on Clair Obscure, and I'm not going to give anything away, but Clair Obscure does not tell the popcorn story that it presents. Like, there are twists and turns, and it changes and it evolves. And I think the part of the reason why I like that story is that it does not just sit down and give you exactly what you want. And so I think when I think about it in that way, I go, oh, you know what? If they sat down and they were like, hey, this is the plot of the story and it did exactly what it said it was going to do. If that's not your intent as the person telling the story, I can see why you would make changes to challenge the people that are interacting with your content. And that's where I understand it. That doesn't mean that I've said this before, almost every time we do a live show and Kojima comes out, he feels like the type of guy that will be your friend until he meets a more famous person and then you're on the chopping block. Like, he definitely feels a bit like I don't want to say a clout chaser because he's already plenty famous, but like he feels like a person that's just in love with the idea of celebrity status and stuff like that. I do think he has a reputation that is very much earned. He was talking about things that are politically relevant and putting them in video games like 20 years ago, but they are just as relevant, if not more so today. Talking about AI and the information age and all of that way back in Metal Gear Solid 2. Like, and there's no doubt
how good boxes are. My cat loves boxes.
There's no doubt that he is an auteur at what he does, but he does sometimes come off a little bit like, oh, I just want to be in here and make famous friends. And he maybe sees himself in a little more self-important lens than what other people might picture.
Yeah. He said, here's the quote. He reflected on Kojima. He opened up about, quote unquote, the problem of having players like Death Stranding 2 too much. That means something is wrong, he told him. We have to change something. And you're right. He went on to talk about how it was mostly narrative stuff. But that just seems weird to me. You're going to, hey, I want 70 of your dollars, hard-earned dollars for this video game. It's less good than it used to be. We changed it, but pay me anyway. It's weird.
Yeah, but like, I think it really depends. Like, I don't know if the article provides this context because I didn't read it. I saw the tweet with like, yeah, okay, whatever. Because it depends, like what they mean by good. Like you said, it was narratively focused, so
right.
That means the video game part should still be fun, I suppose.
If it's
so much
good
context to what good means, anyways.
Yeah. I'm okay if the story is more challenging or weird or goes off the rails if the gameplay's fun. So I guess I'm with you there if that's what it is. But we don't really have that context other than
the notion. It's one of those weird things. Like to some extent, we were entertaining people when we were making our There Will Be Dungeons D&D show. We wanted it to be good, but I also was like, I just want you guys to have a good time. And those two don't necessarily correlate. Like if I'm the DMing just for context. And I'm the fun conductor. The assumption is if you're having a good time, the audience will have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But like that connection doesn't make sense. Like I could try to engineer things in such a way as to make it a maximally viewable product versus just playing the game.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be boring or bad or whatever, it's just going to be what it is.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's like entertaining or engaging for the players.
Yeah.
So that's one of those weird things where it's just like, yeah, you're making movies. It's always the weird conversation with movies. It's like you're making a movie and you want lots of people to love it. But if you're like an auteur or if you're just on a mission to express something, everyone might hate it. And you might be happy with that.
That may have been the point, right? Is to piss everybody off.
You're not a baristador. It's like everyone that comes through here and watches this thing needs to have a good time.
Yeah.
You sort of understand that, like, I'm trying to depict a thing. We're trying to sell it. The producers are trying to sell it and make me change things. And since I have all the creative control, they can go eat sand. But, those guys make bad movies, right? Sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
they do.
Isn't there some Kubrick duds or some weird ones? Like, it's.
I think the last one he did was kind of a dud. What was it?
Yeah.
Eyes
Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut was kind of
see that
unwatchable.
I didn't. But I remember that was a thing. Or even Coppola just did that Metropolis movie.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to be pretty bad.
And I haven't watched it, but there's a lot of like, holy shit, he's making a movie. And then there's like, man, this movie is kind of shit.
Yeah.
And maybe he's like, yeah, I made the movie I wanted to make. Fuck y'all. I don't care.
I hope he said that. I would love it if he said that. I want it on mic though. I want to hear that old guy.
Like maybe it was just sloppy. Like there's a difference between it was sloppy or it was like focus grouped to death or done by committee or what. Like there's that kind of bad, and then there's the kind of bad that an author just writes the thing that is in his soul. And he's like, I hope you like it. Come see it. We can charge you money because we put work into it.
Yeah.
And everyone hates it. And you're just like, okay. Well,
also, Team Money in our chat is smoking crack. He says Scorsese is dropping turds lately. His last 2 movies have been fantastic. I don't know what you're talking about.
Irishman was awesome. What was after Irishman?
That's the one about the massacre on the reservation one with.
I didn't see that.
Gosh dang it! The name. I can't think of the name.
But yeah,
I thought his last project was being a meme that everybody drops whenever there's a story and something.
His last movie was Absolute Cinema. I saw the poster for it everywhere on TikTok.
Him running around.
Every time a good narrative happens, he appears.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like it depends who you're dealing with, especially with people who have legends. There aren't, because video games are so collaborative at the scale we're talking about usually. You don't got people like Metzen, Chris Metzen, whom we talk about a lot, very humble. He's not like, I'm making this special Warcraft film, and but Hideo is kind of the only one in the gaming space who's like, this is a Hideo Kojima joint, and it's super important. Like he's very pretentious for someone in the space, like. It's a healthy amount of ego that he has. Maybe deserved, maybe not. But
he's like, I make trailers,
I assume
14-minute trailers. That's what I do.
I assume he does no low-level like work engineering. Maybe he understands it or whatever, but it's hard for me to imagine that he's in the trenches anymore with any of this stuff. Like he hires people for it, and I guess he has the means to do so. I don't know how that all works.
Yeah.
But he's still at a place where his name means something, and again, it's going to mean something going forward. We're going to talk about this later. There are companies that have names that carry a lot of weight, and a couple bad releases, bad decisions, and all of that puts that at odds. And if Kojima wants to secure, if in his mind, no, my name going on this has to mean something, then he's going to be very careful about it.
Yeah.
I think you can look at things like the Star Wars sequel trilogy, and you can see 3 different ways to have problems with your movie. You can be too close to what came before, but a likable enough popcorn movie. You can try to go and so divisive and push hard enough that you make something that splits the fan base right down the middle, and it's kind of that 50-50, and it's like, well, it challenged people and bunch of people bounced off of it, and some people really love it. And then you can do a movie that like clearly was designed just to make everybody happy and instead made everybody mad.
Yeah.
So I think that like that's an interesting examination of how, this sort of storytelling, telling your story versus telling a story that challenges people versus I'm trying to make something for everyone can fall apart. I think once you get past the headline of it, everything he's saying makes sense. But of course, all the news sites are running with the article. He made Death Stranding worse.
Yeah. And it's impossible not to at least discuss it in that context, but you're right. That is what everyone has run with and decided is the story.
About this conversation, it just occurred to me is that none of us will play it.
I might. I'm tempted. Yeah.
I'm tempted to watch a video of the first game and just go.
I mean, I started one and I thought it was just like, honestly, I was like, man, this is like high school science fiction. It was. I don't think Hideo Kojima is that.
You don't think he's the auteur that we've made him into? That's what you're saying. You're saying that out loud.
Unless the technobabble was just like, yeah, okay. All right.
I mean, is that based on just the one game, or are you trying to examine everything he's
I'm
done?
not a big Metal Gear Solid player, so I always like kept out of it in terms of it was great. I played Metal Gear Solid. I thought it was a great video game, very wordy. Didn't think it was revelatory at the time, but I was younger and maybe just, I don't know. I've read a Tom Clancy novel here or there or whatever. I don't know. Just it never really jumped out at me as like, maybe he did predict some stuff and was prescient. And maybe he had some, good sources. Like it's James Cameron's going to be like that. Where Skynet's on the way. We're probably going to be, in a world of Terminators in like 10, 20 years.
Could be.
But he had some prescient things. Great. Like, cool. But like you're releasing a game now, and I played a bit of Death Stranding, and it just was like, this sounds like podcast bro shit. Like to me, like
fuck podcast.
What's that?
He said F podcast. Like we're making one right now. See?
No, I'm saying podcast bro, like the like workout guys that are like, man, do you think there are space aliens? Yeah. It just sounded like it just had that like vibe to it.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And maybe I need to give it a second chance, but the technobabble seemed like, I've listened to lots of technobabble. We're Star Trek watchers. We talk Star Trek. Like, we know some good horse shit, science fiction-y stuff when we hear it, when people put in effort. It sounded like there was no effort. It's just from what I was hearing, I was like, okay. Honestly, it was a couple hours, so I need to give it more of a chance. But all I did was walk.
Yeah, it's a lot of walking.
Gameplay. Like I think he made the first one so that people don't think it's too good. Like I think it's probably on. That's one of the hallmarks of the brand of the Death Stranding brand is the game's not that fun.
I mean, I've never heard anybody rave about the gameplay, so. Maybe I'm talking to the wrong
You're
people.
not like, man, I played it. No, I couldn't put it down. Mind you, Ziggurat, who's a listener, who taught us about the bee's dick.
Thank goodness.
Really thought I would like it and purchased it for me. And, I feel bad when someone buys me something and I'm kind of poo-pooing it. But, like, I feel like, yes, I probably, just to put this conversation to bed because we talk about him so much on the show, to be like, I played his game from beginning to end. And now here's what I think. I just have a hard time playing things I'm not interested in. That's all.
Yeah, it may not. I mean, if I end up playing it, I'm going to do like John suggested. I think I want to watch like all the cutscenes together or something. Just kind of get a overall and see how weird. I
love his trailers. Like whenever I watch, like my favorite thing about I've never played Metal Gear Solid 5. That's his last one at Konami, but the trailer
it's so good and so incomplete, which is a real shame. But
you were having too much fun.
I know.
Is that what it was?
We just gave up.
It was too good, and
he's like, they're not listening to my instructions to make it worse. I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
That will show them.
It is a weird thing to say, but we'll see what happens. We're pretty close on this game. It comes out. Let's see, when is that game out?
Soon. I put an hour into the first game, and what I'll say about my time with the first game in the 65 minutes I put into it, every time that was a video part of it and storytelling, I was kind of into, and every time I was playing any video game part, I was bored. So
gotcha.
For Death Stranding,
that could change. Yeah, that could change, but that's how I felt about it. Like every time I was watching something, I was like, all right. And then I had to play something, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to play this anymore.
It's next week, by the way, 26th. It'll be out.
Oh, it's coming out next week.
Yeah, we're getting it right
right,
away.
yeah.
So we're gonna know pretty quick, review-wise. We're gonna hear people's takes.
Yep, your algorithms are going to be like, why it's the best ever, why it's the worst ever.
Yeah, get ready for another round, baby. Stuff we do
Is it
around
on
here.
Switch 2, by the way? Like,
I don't know.
the console needs games, apparently.
Yeah, might be. There's a lot of announced shit for it, but nothing out yet. We'll talk more about that and plenty more coming up because now it's time for this. There's a new Xbox console being worked on. We knew that already. Phil Spencer said about a year ago they were already working on the next generation of hardware. But they got up and talked a lot about what we could expect from their next generation of hardware and kind of the device plan overall for Xbox. And as it turns out, it's basically, I think that this is a bit of a coup, and this is going to cause some argument. Maybe not with you guys, maybe with just listeners. I don't know, but whoever wants to challenge me on this, please do. But I think this is a bit of a coup by Microsoft. I think this is a late night board meeting where they finally figured out this like final battle plan for the Xbox brand. And it's this. They've always resented and had a very contentious relationship with Gabe Newell and Valve. And therefore with any other kind of like good solid footprint on the PC platform that they didn't own. Because Microsoft, it's crazy. It's like your house. Somebody moved into your house, took over a room of that house, and now dominates that room, and you're not allowed in it. And that's Steam. It really is like that kind of usurpation. So
they are allowed in it. They just got to sell their games within that room. They
right.
Can bring
they've
their
never
stuff
cracked
into the
it.
room. They just can't decorate the walls.
My point is they've never cracked it. I also think people are just sort of opposed to the owner of the house getting to have every room. You know what I'm saying?
It's so selfish, though. It's like Microsoft makes enough money as it is. Like, I got to have every room of this house.
I know. But all that aside, forget about all that for a minute.
Yeah.
Here's where I'm going with this. Here's where I'm going with this. I think that their strategy of, and this isn't a new thing, they've been saying it for years, but Xbox everywhere. We want to let you play it everywhere you can. If Nintendo would let us, there'd be Game Pass on Switch devices. Sony games, or so we do the same thing with Sony if they let us, and we are doing some stuff where we're publishing on Sony, and Sony is publishing a couple of games on our platform. So they're already kind of starting to chip away at that.
And they own a lot of big studios, so they're 10-centing it up.
Exactly. And they've got a lot of that stuff in the works. And Game Pass is very robust. They've been pooping out hits for months now. So here's what I think they're doing. Because she got up, the head, and I forgot her name. Crap. I like her, though. The person who's like head of.
I didn't watch the Xbox presentation. There was some yapping, and I was like, okay.
I forgot her name.
Clicked off the video.
I forgot her name. Phil's on there later, but she was out there a bunch, and she basically made one weird statement, which was, "We're happy to announce that we have partnered exclusively with AMD for our next generation of hardware." And I went, "That's the last 2 generations of hardware plus this one."
You're talking about Sarah Bond is her name.
Sarah Bond, thank you. 3 generations of hardware are AMD based.
007?
No, she's not 007.
Oh, okay.
I doubt it. I'm sure she's never heard that joke in her life.
It's so funny. I know.
Person.
Yeah.
Not my best work, guys. I'm sorry.
So anyway, she says that they're making this deal with AMD, which I thought was silly because they're already doing this. They made AMD was the chip and CPU partner, GPU partner for Xbox One. They used them again for Xbox Series S and X. That's happening again with this Asus Steel and the handheld, and now they're committing to the next one as if it was new. It's a weird thing to do, but they did that. I don't know if that was a slide at Intel, just further nails in the Intel gaming coffin. I don't know what that was about. It was a little weird. But then she gets into this idea that the next generation of hardware for them, for a console under your television, is the same strategy they have for everything else, in that it will be even more of a PC than it already is. And by this, I mean a version of Windows that's much closer to what you're running on that new ROG Ally, a thin layer of Windows, not the full robust version of Windows, but a version of Windows that could easily run Discord, OBS, all your Windows apps, especially those that are made more for a handheld. But in this case, for PC, handheld, and console, they would have a unified interface. All your games would carry forward from no matter where you've purchased them. And you could run Steam, you can run Epic, you can run GOG, you can run all your other stuff, all within this unified interface. Now,
it's Windows.
Exactly. So yes, there are going to be people like, Scott, it's always been based on Windows. I know. At a kernel level, yes, the very underlying underpins.
They want your TV. This is not about your PC. It's about your living room.
Yeah, but
they've always been going after the living room.
I think this is also, but this is where the usurpation comes from. This is what I think they're trying to do. Instead of trying to get to compete with Valve on their own platform, they've gone in. They're coming from the inside out. They're going, here's all our new hardware, and guess what? It'll run every damn Steam game you ever owned, which includes all your Sony first-party games, which includes any other first-party games from people that aren't Microsoft, which includes Game Pass, which includes console and PC Game Pass games, which includes all the games you own and those 3 or 4 GOG games and all those freebies you've been getting on Epic.
They're just tricking us. They're tricking us into spending money on Windows.
Well, the point being, your Windows box will do the same thing. And already does. They want to share the interfaces, so if you end up liking that interface, it'll end up being kind of a shell for everything. But PC players are savvy; they don't care, whatever. It's not a big deal. Yeah. But when you talk about handhelds with the new ROG thing and a console lineup that will do this same thing, and all your libraries work there, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. All the Sony first-party AAA PC games will run there. All of the stuff that they have in Game Pass will run there. Everything they've ever had will run there. What you'll have to do is
you'll have to walk past the Xbox store to get to the Steam store.
Sort of.
You might stop at the Xbox store because it looks more appealing.
So basically, like making a walled garden so big that the only thing that stands out is the people who have small walled gardens.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be around them.
Yeah, no. Look at actually, that's a really good one, John. It's like a sinkhole. Everybody thought they were sitting on the ground going, all right, we got our little ideas here and everything. And then this big sinkhole goes, yeah, but what if you're all in our walled garden? And it's all now in there. And Microsoft's, it's not about stopping at a store. They don't care what you play on there. The point is you're going to get to play everything on there. And that is enough for you to say, what's this Game Pass about? $15 a month, I'll pay that. Plus I got all my other stuff. This is great. Like legitimately,
that's the store you're walking past to get to Steam. You're like, oh, Game Pass.
Well, it's not even a store. You're just in.
I mean it metaphorically, not literally. Like it's
yeah,
because you're in the environment. That's an opportunity to make a sale.
Yeah, but you're missing my point. My point is this is a coup against Steam, against anybody else who would go after the PC crown, and at the same time remain relevant in the console space. It's legitimately a giant deal. Nobody else has anything close to this, strategically speaking, except the PC that already exists. But
no, I understand. Okay, yeah. So they're selling people PCs for their living room.
I don't think it's that simple, but yeah, they were already doing that. That the Series X is a big PC.
No, I know, but they're making it. They're making it like consolified and nice. Like like it's not. You're not going to think I'm on a Windows PC when you open your Xbox. You're going to think I'm in the Xbox.
Yeah, you're going to be in
a corner. But they're not going to like refuse service. Then you're going to be able to put your Steam on there.
Not just refuse service. Not just put it in the corner. It's all up front. The point of this new interface is to create, call it tiles, whatever you want to call it. But you've got Steam.
How do they profit? Epic? If I buy an Xbox and I use only my Steam services because I know better,
then you bought an Xbox and you may or may not get Game Pass. I don't know why you wouldn't though. I don't know why you wouldn't.
I mean, I don't have it. I guess I'm very rare, but I'm kind of opposed. I don't really like the economy of rental. I would prefer to buy it, so I just tend to do that. But most people don't. So,
well, that's the point.
But I'm saying
if you say,
I'm having a hard time understanding because I'm like, oh yeah, I'd love a machine for my living room. So I'll pay for the machine, probably a loss leader, and then just play Steam on it.
Yeah, you can do that, but you got to pull the camera out a little bit and look at the larger picture here. This isn't just like Microsoft's trying to be a P. Who cares? That's all surface level stuff. What I'm saying is you'll pull out that camera a bit and you'll see, all right, I don't want to do Game Pass, but I do really want to play the new Indiana Jones game. That's a Microsoft product. I'm buying it on Steam. That's where I want to play it. Great. Play it on Steam. Now you're playing it on your Xbox. You are unified saves freaking everywhere. So you can play it on your PC, your Xbox, your handheld, whatever you want. That ecosystem is that would be an unrivaled situation if they achieve this. I'm not saying they even have yet. But if their goals are met, you're talking about...
I would tell people I'm playing it on my Xbox.
Well, and not to mention that even if you fold your arms and go, well, I got one over on them, I'm not paying for any subscription for them, and then WoW jingles a shiny new cutscene in front of your face, and you're like, well, I'm definitely resubbing to WoW. Now you're subscribed to Microsoft.
Yeah. Well, in theory, sure.
Yeah,
but
no, not in theory, in practicality, they own them.
Well, yeah,
like you're giving Microsoft money for that subscription now.
That's true.
They have multiple vectors that they can now onboard you, even if you want to take a stand on one and go, well, I'm not going to engage with Microsoft. Oh, except I need this game, and I'm going to subscribe to this video game, which is also owned by Microsoft. Like they have enough revenue streams that maybe they can't afford to be a loss leader on a console level because they got you.
Yeah, they got you some way or another. They have you. Someone in the chat made a joke. ICU said Microsoft makes Steam machines. Yeah, like this is a successful Steam machine that is also all of these other things. Or you want to look at it a different way. This is an Xbox that will run all the other shit you have. There's a real value proposition here. For gamers, go ahead.
Are you saying that you're going to smack down like any notion that Steam might have their own boxes, and that might be, because there's talk about Steam OS and stuff. There's a lot of hype around even just getting away from Windows. Like if Steam made a truly competent operating system, I'd probably not go to Windows 10. I'd probably go to Steam OS on my PC if I could get everything to run.
I would too if I was only going to play Steam games. But if I'm not,
no, if they have to make a proper operating system that like I could do other things on. But I'm just a little nervous about learning Linux. But like, there's a part of me that really wants to get out of Windows. So I'm, if Steam came along and was like, we've got a Steam operating system, I'd be like, I think I'll try it.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is it's not going to really, all of the three of us are going to have our
I know
things we're going to dismiss
but you talk
about
about the market at large. They don't care about these things, and
they don't. And it could be potentially massive. And it's interesting to me because I do like Game Pass. I don't like using the Microsoft Store by itself. I'm not interested in that really, but Game Pass is a great value. xCloud in theory is a great value. Steam is already a massive value in my life. Sony games I care about, I want those versions anyway. I'll never need to. This honestly would put me on the road of like I don't need to get another PlayStation ever again unless Sony does something crazy. Because why would I?
Because that's the thing is it's gonna make the outliers to the open ecosystem stand out more.
Right.
Because when you get something and you can automatically play it everywhere. Like if I buy a Steam game and I can play that on my PC, but I can also go into my living room and turn on an Xbox, whatever you call it, and I can play that same game there. But then Sony puts something out and I can't play that anywhere except, a PlayStation that I may not own. All of a sudden that's going to stand out like a sore thumb. And it ends up being PR for Microsoft in a way, because all of a sudden you're just like, ugh, I hate that I can't play this, because all of a sudden now the fact that they are enclosed stands out more than it does when that's what everybody's doing. Like when everybody's going, nope, you just have to operate in our ecosystem. It's like, okay, well, that's just how it works. But if one opens up really vast, then all of a sudden all the people that are staying real tight knit and closed, you're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Why is it like that?
Yeah. So someone in the chat said, is the rogue ally more powerful than the deck? The new ones, the specs on the new one are way more powerful than the deck if you're getting the top end one. The mid-range one's a lot closer to where we are with the max range Steam Deck. This isn't even an issue of like, pick your team, now fight. This is Microsoft saying, fine, fight all you want. Here's everything together. I mean, that's kind of massive. That's not a small thing to say, here's a platform where all the shit you like is in one place and you can do it.
They're becoming the incumbent. Like if you think of it as a channel,
yeah,
and they own the actual infrastructure, like in telecommunications, like you can get different service providers for your phone service, but one company owns the wires in your neighborhood.
Right.
And they pay rent, they have deals to provide service.
Yeah, or if you're
over the incumbency.
You're like a small regional cell provider. You're actually using T-Mobile or somebody else, right?
Yeah. So if you're using all these services, but Xbox is the bed on which they all get transmitted, or Microsoft is, then Microsoft has a lot of hand in Seinfeld terms. I guess. I mean, they already do. They're a ginormous company, but you were saying, I guess that means they win because...
I'm not saying they win. I'm saying the potential to win is as big as it's going to get for them. This is their one chance. This last generation...
So they had a meeting and they're going to like crack-a-lack on things.
Well, this last generation, they lost hardware sales and total mind share to Sony again. They never were able to claw it back.
Them down this time around. Okay.
I just think this is their only chance to really try to do that. What's funny about all this is Nintendo's affected not at all. They're just sort of out there doing their thing.
It's always been the case.
It's always been the case.
Nintendo's like, we're going to put out something that's less powerful, has less on it, and we're going to charge more for it. And people are like, hell yes.
Yeah, hell yes.
All right.
You're gonna make things. You're gonna make like fun things about our properties. We're gonna sue you, and also everyone's gonna complain, but still buy your system anyways.
Yeah,
it's fine.
They're fine where they are. They don't need to play in this party.
I think when I was looking at that museum, I think of them. I don't really think of them as a video game company. I think of them as a toy company that's just really great at making video games.
Well, their toys are great. I'll tell you what.
And it doesn't matter. I mean, the Playdate's kind of like proof of that, right? That handheld console, like things don't have to sell like hotcakes. It just has to sell enough to make the project viable. And I think they released an update and some more games for the people who bought them. And it's just a cute little thing. That's a cute little thing.
Yeah, but that wouldn't. I don't think that's comparable to Nintendo. They just sold more copies in the weeks the things have been available compared to the what PlayStation 2 is the previous record holder, and it beat it. I mean, that's crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And we're not done yet. Obviously, you got to go long term to see if it gets the total numbers. But that much in the short time it's been out to outsell, to finally dethrone PlayStation 2 in total number of sales, it's no small thing. That's pretty massive. That's my whole point. Is I think this whole thing could turn into Microsoft figured out a way to get Sony at bay, PC at bay somehow, even though it's all playable there, but kind of control and have a, like John said, the sinkholes, this big Microsoft sinkhole they're all in now. And it's about, then it will become about, this is gaming and all of its stuff is the best value over here with Microsoft. And then there's Nintendo, and then that's it. And then everything else gets smaller or more niche or whatever. That's what they're hoping. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but that's what they want.
They're striking. They're crack-a-lacking. Maybe they know things about PlayStation, and they're. I mean, a lot of the floundering games headlines has been, Concord and Marathon, and there hasn't been anything big lately from the Sony house, I don't think.
No, and I guarantee they're scrambling. I've heard people say there's no way they let their games play on this Microsoft Ally X thing, and I'm like, of course they are.
Like Xbox did Redfall, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but I don't. It's not the same. I don't think.
The same. You think it's? It hurts Sony more than it hurts.
Oh yeah, Redfall was a blip in the overall picture, I think. But the thing, aside from that, if Sony's sitting somewhere right now, I just know some Sony executives are going, well, shit, that means all our AAA games that we moved to PC because we were trying to get a foothold in PC, that's all going to be playable on Microsoft hardware now. Like, that's weird. But it's true, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Nintendo now, so
but that's different. That's what Sega's
continues to do really well for Sony, because they announced the numbers for Stellar Blade, and it tripled its sales by coming out on PC from what it was on PlayStation. Tripled.
Yeah, it did really well.
Sony is learning a valuable lesson that, oh my gosh, putting this stuff on PC pays out well. So
but you might as well say putting this stuff on Windows, like
right.
Whether it's on Steam or wherever the hell you bought it, it's running on their console competitors. They're probably because that's the most install base there is.
Unless you're on deck, but yeah, but even
if it is on the Steam store, it's also running on Windows, and Yeah, Microsoft's everywhere. Windows is everywhere, and whatever you want to call the operating system on an Xbox.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean they have a big install base, so I mean it all comes down to for the PlayStation side, like their business selling hardware. It's sold really well, so I don't see why it wouldn't sell well, and they're going to make some pretty awesome first party games with PlayStation. What are we at? 6 now? 7?
Well, it'll be 6.
6.
Yeah.
I have a PS5 right there. Yeah, 6 would be next.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But if all those, but you got to remember that strategy now includes six months to a year later putting shit on PC, which means now putting shit on Xbox.
Yeah, that I'm sick of. That shit. Like, I know the Final Fantasy VII Part 3 is going to come out, and it's going to take another year before I'm going to want to play it. So that's shite.
Well, yeah, but my point is it's still coming there, and now it's going to be coming to Xbox. To the point of the entire conversation, which is Microsoft knows what they're doing here. This is not them being.
So you think Sony caves and there's just going to be a Sony store on the Xbox too?
No, I don't think that.
There basically is, and
there will
Steam
be.
Is running on.
Yeah, the delayed release PS5 store is currently on available on PC. Why not on these other things? But this guy emailed me and argued with me that Sony will make this not happen. They'll sue or something. And I went, how? It's Steam running on a device that is a device. How are they going to sue?
You don't have to be. Well, you don't have to be in the right to sue, right? You can just.
Well, yeah, but guess who's got deeper pockets to fight in court though? Microsoft. They got so much money, it's embarrassing. So Sony can try that.
Know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's move on to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. They're cutting a movie cut, and it will be shown in selective theaters. Help me understand this, John. This is from the game, like cutscenes from the game.
Well, I didn't put this.
Oh, John, Beau, did you put this in here? Tell me about this.
I did, and yeah, it's a cut. It's a cut of the story of the video game that they're showing in theaters.
Oh, what?
So you know how people do that on YouTube, where you're like, I can't play this Yakuza game. I'm just going to watch all the cutscenes. Or I remember I've done that with StarCraft, even though I played StarCraft, but I didn't want to play the whole game again just to see the cool cutscenes. So I watched the cinematic version on YouTube.
My kids were doing this with The Last of Us. They wanted to know what The Last of Us was, so I put on the movie cinematics, and they were Henry stares into a hole in the video. But yeah,
it's funny that this has taken this long, actually. But yeah, they're putting their Kingdom Come story. You can watch it, some sort of truncated version, because you don't want to watch 10 hours of cutscenes or 10 hours of Henry going, "Hello there." Like you're a blacksmith, I take it. Like all those things that are fun from a role play conversating, but don't really push the story forward. So, yeah. And I'm like, I probably video games should have figured this out a while ago that they could do. There's huge fandoms for games, and if someone made StarCraft the movie just from StarCraft 2 cinematics, I might go see that.
Oh, hell yeah, I'd see that.
In a big old theater or something like that. Maybe it's a little dated, but I really like StarCraft. But what about Cyberpunk? I don't know. Cyberpunk's weird because it's in first person, but
I might do.
There's some pretty fantastic stuff. Maybe I don't feel like playing Claire Obscure, but maybe the story sounds cool. Like John raves about it. Maybe I'd watch the movie for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, their cutscenes are nice. I would watch Death Stranding 1 cutscenes in a movie theater. That's just weird enough to do on a Friday night.
Yeah, Death Stranding the movie seems way more appealing than Death Stranding the game.
Yeah. Nicholas says Sony already did this with Ratchet and Clank. That was like a full-blown from the ground up movie. That wasn't cutscenes from a game. This is like...
I just mean like literally just taking the video game or designing the video game from the front.
Right.
To be like, yep, it's going to be narrative gameplay, but we want to make sure that we make a version of this that people can enjoy.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be every game. Just, we're talking about the AAA's games, it's...
What do you want out of a machinima future, John, of games? Would this be a thing? Since we're getting so close to, it looks as good as real animated footage, why not just repurpose it, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like you look at, pull up what's playing at your local theater, and it's no longer relegated to just movies, out of Hollywood. They do events for stage shows. I think Critical Role just did a live event that was televised in theaters. They do events and stuff like that. And I think, experimenting with something like this, I think, sure, why not? To me, Personally, I think Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's biggest strength is in the gameplay. It's in the funny, crazy stories that come out of playing the game. As much as I think my big criticism of that game is it's not always the most fun game to play. I do think that creates a unique situation where you get odd experiences out of playing the game. But I'm in the camp of why not? Just because that's how I feel about it doesn't mean they shouldn't do it. I feel like this is a great experiment and they shouldn't. I think that's cool. And I think there is a world where maybe if somebody comes up with a super cut of Mass Effect and we put it in theaters, like, yeah, I might talk my friends into going and seeing that and chilling and watching the cutscenes for that.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of an interesting decision, but I won't say that I would be super stoked about it, but that doesn't mean it's something I don't think they should do.
Sure.
It's two different things.
I think in this case, if whatever this is, when this comes available and I can see it, I would like to see what they do with Kingdom Come. I want to see Henry do shit. So if this happens,
yeah,
I'll do it for the sake of the show. Even I'd love to go if it ever gets out of that film festival circuit and ends up in theaters. Never know. My daughters went to see 3 episodes of Dan, the anime.
Yeah, oh, I need to watch that. It looks so cool.
Yeah, she loves that show. And then I guess they premiere 3 episodes in theater form in various Cinemarks around the country. And so she went with her friends the other night and they had a blast. They loved that. That's kind of a similar.
Yeah. I watched the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Tales of the Underworld, that new cartoon that came out. Before it came out, they were showing 2 episodes in Fortnite.
Oh,
and
weird.
I watched the first 2 episodes in Fortnite.
Giant screen in the background, or how do you do it?
It was a stage that was like a hangar bay and then a cantina and streets in between. And you could go into the hangar bay and there was a big, like, around you screen that you could sit down and watch. And you could like hide the area, or you could just sit and you could dim the lights or have the lights up. Or you could go in the cantina and sit at, like, it looks like the Mos Eisley Cantina. You could sit at chairs and they had screens all around there, like a social gathering.
That's cool.
And then for all those of us with ADD, if you wanted to get up and run downstairs in the hangar bay, they had all the Star Wars guns available, and they would just infinitely spawn stormtroopers, and you could shoot them. So it was a really interesting way to experience watching 2 episodes of a television show that wasn't out.
It's very weird.
Yeah, but it was fun. I'm glad I did it. Yeah. It was a unique experience, so, why not?
I really like that they do that stuff, as weird as it is. Not just because, I don't even play Fortnite. I just think it's cool that somebody's doing that.
Yeah.
It's a damn battle royale, for shit's sakes, and you're all watching movies. Weird.
Yeah, they do that for their announcements too, where you can watch the announcement on a giant screen and you can like run around and fly and pick up coins while the announcement's going on. It's like us talking over the E3 broadcast if people could be playing a video game at the exact same time.
Yeah. Sorry, Beau, what were you going to say?
I saw the first 3 episodes of Transformers in the theater too.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you really liked that, right? You were into that.
Yeah, it was great. I would do more, except they only did the voice acting. They did the voiceover for the first one. I wonder if that's public now or something. But yeah, no, it was.
Oh, right. They were on stage or whatever.
It was cool because you knew no one was there because they're like, well, what's playing at the theater? Let me go see it. Like, everyone's there to see, to see Transformers.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I guess. Yeah, we won't know about this. Oh, I did get a pack. Sorry, my daughter's letting me know that guys, I ordered a Unicorn. What's the name of that game?
Unicorn Overlord?
Because I got a screaming deal. You know how it's only on either PlayStation or Switch. You can't get anywhere else. And
an Xbox version.
Do they? Oh, I guess I meant they just don't have it on PC. You're right. But I was never the demo's really long, and so I played a ton of that demo, and then I got to where it wants you to buy the game, and I was like, I don't know if I want to spend $70 right now. And this is a long time ago, and I kind of held off, and then I found a deal, and it was $22.
Oh my gosh.
like a one-off on Amazon. So I was like, sweet, let's order that. I'll get the physical one. I don't care. Switch 2 is one of these things. Well, let's just get it. Let's order it. So I order it, and it was supposed to be there the next day. And I go check tracking, and it says it's on its way. And then I check tracking again. It says it's arrived. Here's a photo of the porch where I left the package. You know how they do? So I go in there, and I go, and I'm all excited. I look at the picture. I'm down here getting ready to run upstairs, and I look, and it's not my door. And I went,
Yeah.
did you go to the wrong, what house is that? Is that around here? I'm thinking it's all that. Nope, it's in Chicago. Because my wife had sent a gift to a friend in Chicago.
Oh,
And
no.
I didn't know. I didn't change the address or check it. So
Oh shit!
so I went to Chicago. They were very nice, like turn it right around and ship it here. But then it got delayed. Blah blah blah. Anyway, it just arrived about a half an hour ago. My daughter brought it in, so very excited.
Finally.
Yeah.
That happened to a Shockwave figure from Transformers that I ordered, except it didn't go to some other accidental. I just selected the wrong. They just sent it to someone else, and then they were like, "Yeah, you're never getting that."
Oh shit! Wait till like a
So-
whole different person.
I hope they refunded me, so I got my money back. But yeah, it was just some yard with grass and a white picket fence, and I was like, I don't think that's Arizona.
Yeah.
I don't think that's even in this state.
Uh-uh.
So, yeah, I hope whoever got it enjoys their Shockwave figure. May it find happiness and peace in your life. I really wish I had gotten it, but I hope you enjoy
So you
it.
never got? Was that a one-off thing? You couldn't rebuy or whatever? You couldn't get another one, or?
I didn't have faith because it came from China.
Got it.
And I was like, well, if they got it wrong once, they're going to get it wrong again.
Yeah. Specialized stuff like that's kind of tricky.
Yeah, so I just didn't do it.
Well, anyway, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, go ahead.
Before we move on, I did post because I don't think they ever posted the Transformers thing anywhere that we could watch it, but someone posted like them recording the theater screen on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Road Pig John. So if you wanted a sense of what it was like, just skip ahead a bit.
So these guys are on stage. Let's see if I can get a shot at there. They
Skip
are.
ahead a bit, yeah.
So there's
Just go to like,
your two mains. Oh, the whole crew's there, man. Okay, let me go up this
but
far.
like, yeah, just jump. Yeah, there you go. That's what the show was like, where it's like a little box where they show the cartoon, and then they're doing the table read. So you're seeing like Frank Welker and
Paul Edding
Peter
is
Cullen
Thundercracker, and there's Frank.
all these
Tadaro.
guys. So the guy who did Starscream has passed away, so they got someone else to do it who does like Starscream in the current cartoons, I guess. But it's cool. So it's just like everything feels differently voiced, but the soundtrack and music are playing.
I like seeing
I don't
these two
know
getting along here because you got Optimus Prime and and Megatron hanging out. I like it.
Now I don't know why this video has algebra floating everywhere.
That's how they're fooling the algorithm so they don't get a takedown.
I guess, yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Is.
It's so. I wish. Can they post this somewhere? My God.
Algebra.
They really should on Hasbro's side or something. Give me something.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find it. So I've only seen it once in the theater. It was so special. It was so. And it's like only 3 minutes of it. It's not the full thing, but like they do the whole episode like at the table. It's awesome. Yeah,
That's great. So you saw that, not them on stage
saw that.
live, but a version where
in
they
the
were.
theater, super loud. Yeah, it was great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that.
Transformers, algebra in the sky.
We're gonna fool this algorithm if it's the last thing we do. Decepticons. All right. Hey, big update for Hades 2. We got no confirmed date, but we're getting close, I guess. That's
Yeah,
exciting.
they said this is going to be the last major update for pre-release before it
Sweet.
leaves early access. So we're getting close to Hades 2, which is a game that I have ignored anything and everything of so that I can go into Hades 2 completely fresh.
I did the same.
Which is
I don't know
basically
if
what happened to me on original Hades, where
Yeah.
I played it once when it first came out on early access, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like this game, but maybe we'll see when it comes out. And then I played it when it came out, and obviously that was my game of the year. I think it's one of the best games ever made. So I'm doing the same thing with Hades 2. I'm ignoring everything about it and hope to be wonderfully surprised when it comes out.
If it was made by this guy, it would be too good, and you'd have to go rework it.
Make it a
Yes,
little
keep
bit
that
worse.
guy away from Hades.
Yeah.
Just oh my god. Yeah.
Look
And
at him.
Hades has great stories, so you know.
Hades
Suck it.
is a crowd pleaser.
I got questions about this. I think that's weed or something. What is that thing he's smoking?
That is not weed. That looks like
the hell is it?
literally just garbage.
It's just garbage. I mean, do you think it's like homemade? It's probably homemade or cigar or something.
Yeah, it's probably just a hand rolled.
Homemade garbage.
Quick shout out, by the way. We mentioned Critical Role a minute ago. I got some pictures from Liam over the weekend, and this look at that, 9,000 people in. I don't know if this is Melbourne or the Sydney.
Yeah, this is the thing that they had in theaters. You could go see this in theaters.
Yep.
Like that's
absolutely
so
wild.
cool. It's so crazy.
And he said in here, I don't want to say too much, but he said that photo is about 9K. He says Melbourne's around 11K. He said he was having a great time. So what a awesome time to be a Critical Roller. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats to them.
We got a news item too about them soon. We'll talk about it.
I kind of want to try that. I downloaded that demo for the game that's got a bunch of them plus a bunch of other voice actors in it. The house relationship superhero thing. What's it called?
Date anything? Is it Date Everything?
Oh, it's Date Everything. That's what it is.
I'm gonna buy that game. I haven't bought it yet because I keep just like staring. I'm mad because I was gonna buy it and it was on sale before it came out, and I was like, I'll get it. I just gotta wait. I just gotta wait a little longer so I can justify the money. And then it came out before I could buy it, and now it's full price again. And I'm just sitting here staring at it. And it's one of those things where it's like I knew it was cheaper. I knew it was cheaper a couple days ago, and as a result, it's been really hard to pull the trigger. But yeah, it's a dating sim where you date everything.
You date all the things in your house. Your Microsoft,
you date all the stuff.
Your microwaves,
bunny,
whatever.
Treadmill.
Date everything in Sandbox Dating Sim.
Says sense of existential dread. Yeah. You can date dread.
You can let the romance flow between your bed, smoke alarm, and overwhelming sense of existential dread. Are you ready to date everything? It is currently at 96%, overwhelmingly positive, and it's got a huge voice cast in it that include all those guys plus everyone they know. It's massive.
Yeah, I want to try it.
This looks like a John game for sure.
I am shocked that you're interested in it. I don't think anybody would be shocked that I played it. I'm the person that's like, but is there a dating game in it?
But the idea of dating a table or something, I mean, you have my attention is all I'm saying.
You're like, you had me at Date Everything.
It's so weird. What a weird idea.
Yeah. I'm reading this review. This game is so stupid in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see it. It's also deck verified. What is this, $30? Yeah, I think I'm going to grab it.
Yeah. Well, as you were describing it, and I see Rusty Nails mentioning it in there, also getting a lot of attention is people have been playing the demo of that game Dispatch.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
And that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
And so Dispatch is another one that is also a me game for sure. And
yeah.
I'm very interested.
This one's got Aaron Paul in it and some other big names. Let's see. It's not out yet. They don't even have a date. It just says 2025. But the demos...
People have been talking because the demo came out.
Yeah.
People have been checking it out.
People have been raving about that. It looks cool. But also it's got some chore core. You basically run what?
It's like if The Boys wasn't awful and you worked at VOT as the person sending out all the superheroes to go do stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of dialogue, relationshipy stuff, but then also... You're managing this service and you're trying to, solve crimes and get shit done. I mean, it looks awesome. I think we saw this somewhere. Aaron Paul came out on stage last year or something at one of the
I think he did
summer events and said, "Listen up, bitch," and then sold us on this.
Yeah.
It says in the trailer from some of the people that brought you Walking Dead, The Wolf Among Us, Tales from the Borderlands.
Oh, really?
I mean,
like all three goated.
The animation's amazing.
Telltale games.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are three of the best.
Yeah,
those are like games. Among the best. Like Wolf Among Us is amazing. The first Walking Dead was like a huge award winner. Like I played it. It was great.
Yeah, the first season of Walking Dead is. I
haven't played Tales, but I own Tales and should play it. And you say it's
should
great.
Play Tales because you actually like Borderlands.
Yeah, fucking moron.
You would actually, because it adds to the lore in huge ways. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, I should actually.
The demo is already at 98% positive. I don't know how you do much better than that with a demo. So This is also a must get, I think. And we don't have a price or a date, though, is the only problem with that one. But demo's out. Check out Dispatch. Marathon's been delayed indefinitely, so sorry about that. Sorry, everybody who was looking for that.
It's not funny, but it's just, I like indefinitely.
I mean, they're basically just like, yeah, we're going to go back to do stuff, and we'll talk to you later.
They say indefinitely. They have said that they are going to have the new date in the fall. So this isn't indefinitely in the strongest sense of like, well, you're never going to hear from it again. In fact, I just read an article today about where the estimates are at on as to whether or not it gets canceled or whether or not it gets completely retooled. And as of right now, at least, the general consensus is that don't expect it to be canceled and don't expect it to be completely retooled into a single player game. Like, this is still probably going to end up being what it was advertised to be.
Yeah.
And it's still probably going to come out. But we'll have to see. I think there's a reason everybody referred to Marathon as Concord 2. I think there's a good reason for it. We'll see next time we get to see it again, assuming they didn't steal the art from anybody else. Maybe they draw a picture of their own. We'll be able to evaluate it at that point.
It'd be wild if it came out and it was like one of the best shooters of all time. Everyone's blown away by it.
Sure. That'd be great if that happened. I wouldn't bet.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet money on it. I won't even bet the $49 or whatever it's going to cost us. I'm waiting. And I love the original Marathon, and I love the idea of a reboot, and I actually was a fan of all that color stuff when they showed that first trailer. I was like, whoa, this looks different. Turns out it looks a lot like someone else's work, but also it was kind of initially impressive, and then all this stuff since, it makes me just not want to go near that thing with a 10-foot pole. But I don't know. Beau, this makes sense, right? Delay. What else are you going to get?
Yeah, sure. I mean, sometimes they say stuff like that when they're not ready to admit it, that they're going to cancel it. So who knows?
Oh, yeah, that's true. This could be...
when they're buying time and doing stuff,
Yeah.
we may just forget about it. How many games have, like we talked about Foamstars at the top of the show, how many games have we been like, that looks cool, and then never saw it?
I don't know if this is one they can do that on, though. Like, I think this is... The reason this is tricky is Sony paid a lot of money for Bungie and for a Bungie game that was going to be a ongoing game.
Yeah, the next Destiny.
It's a high risk business. Sometimes
that's what they wanted, and they're already in the hole for Concord. And so I think there is a good question of, do they push for it in the hopes that maybe this one maybe catches?
Look, if I'm Sony and I bought a studio and they were like, we're making a big IP, and then I find out the huge embarrassment that happens where they ripped stuff off shamelessly, there's going to be, if I'm an executive at Sony, there's going to be a meeting and somebody's head's going to roll.
You think somebody fell on a sword already? One of those deals?
Somebody's be like, you let this happen on your watch, and now we have embarrassment because of you. We need assurances this won't happen. Like, how did this happen? Please explain it. And
I don't want to get the culture wrong, but wasn't there a dude at Nintendo that when the game, what was it called? Game Boy, what was the VR thing called? They made
the Virtual Boy.
When the Virtual Boy died or didn't work, didn't that dude run out and like throw himself into traffic or some shit like that? It was something like that.
No, that's not true.
Wasn't there something like that? There was something like that.
No, that can't be true. Hold on, I gotta Google.
I can't remember. Yeah, like one of those deals. Virtual Boy creator. I can't remember the details here. Let's see.
Like, I'm just gonna ask it like the innocent little duckling that I am, and not try and figure my way. Did the guy who created the Virtual Boy?
Because he was also the guy that made the Game Boy, I think. Commercial failure.
Kill him.
Who's the guy? Oh, I know. I probably got this wrong, and I don't have a problem getting it wrong. That's why I think
the AI overview says no. The creator of the Virtual Boy.
He was in a tragic car accident.
Oh,
Scott.
He didn't throw himself into traffic?
No.
I had this.
This is so much. This is so much worse because he's not alive. Like, it's one thing if he's still alive and it's like, oh, he's fine. Ha ha ha. We made a joke.
Yeah.
This guy is dead, and you're like, he threw himself into traffic because he was so bad at everything.
Well, that's what I did. I conflated the story. I thought there was something about the car thing happened because he was like, I am shamed. I don't know why I heard this story. It's totally, I fully admit it's like Mandela effect, but I had this, somebody told me this story and I
Scott, you now have shame. You know what to do.
You've got to do some Sudoku puzzles.
In my culture, I'll just have pizza. And
in my culture, we put some white text in front of a black background and say, "We hear you."
Yeah. Hey, gamers, we've heard you.
Hey, gamers.
Yeah, we know what you want.
We all say some stuff in the heat of the moment.
I don't know what happened in my brain, but anyway, let's move on now to Dragon Age Veilguard and why it was so bad. I don't know who put this one in, but.
Me.
Is this you, John? How definitive can this possibly be? Sell me on it.
No, this was a really good piece. This is from Jason Schreier, who did an inside scoop on what happened with regards to Dragon Age. And it's funny because a lot of this is going to feel very similar to maybe the future of Marathon that we just talked about, because basically what it was is it was a game that was in development. Then they said, nope, we want to make it a live service multiplayer game. And I'm obviously paraphrasing a lot here. I do recommend going and reading the article. It's very good. It's one of those websites that sometimes you have to pay for. I don't know why I was able to read this entire article without paying for it.
They give you a freebie. They give you a freebie.
Oh, this was my freebie?
Yeah, this is your freebie. So it's Bloomberg where he works, but yeah. I'm sure you can find it referenced somewhere else. Most of the time you can, it's hard for them to keep this stuff in.
Yeah, I read the whole article, and if you want to throw them $2, it's fine. I think it's fine. I think it's fair.
Yeah, $2 a month is all it is to sub to that thing.
I think it's $2 for a year.
Oh, is it?
Or is it a month? No, it's a month. It can't be $2 for a year. That's not enough.
Yeah, get context behind this story at $1.99 a month. Cancel anytime, okay. They say. So.
All right. Well, anyway, point is that they were told, nope, drop that single player sequel to Dragon Age Inquisition. You're making a live service multiplayer game.
Boo!
So they started making a live service multiplayer game complete with that's how they were writing it. That's how they were designing it. That's what the character designs were going to be. And then after Anthem didn't do well, they were told, well, we're rethinking it. Maybe you should make a single player RPG again. And they said, great. Are we restarting the project? And they said, no, you have X number of months to turn this live service multiplayer game into it. They said that's not enough time, and the guy ended up quitting. One of the leads quit. I get the impression, it doesn't say in the article, but the fact that he had a meeting that told them, I think this was actually when it turned live service, that he said, hey, we're a live service multiplayer game now, and it's my last day. I have a feeling that there was an attempt here for like, hey, if you do this, I'm not going to work for you. And they said,
detail he mentioned was he brought bourbon to the meeting.
Yeah. So anyway, they usually this sort of thing would result in a complete restart of the project. They were told no, they still have to keep their same release date. Then, because of things like COVID and stuff like that, it kept getting pushed back, but they never knew what the final end date was going to be.
Yeah.
So they were always operating under the this is coming out soon kind of pressure. And then it eventually came out in the way that it did. And a lot of the things that are in there that we have identified as problems are obvious problems based on a lot of the things that have been going on. Weirdly enough, and I will be the first one to admit that this is me taking a big ol' huff of copium here. One takeaway I did get from this is it is well documented that BioWare has a Mass Effect team and a Dragon Age team, and they don't like each other.
Oh, what? Why? Why do they? What's the problem?
Because you know how I hate Overwatch, Scott?
Yeah. I'm familiar.
Well,
Oh,
it's sort of the same principle. Like there's a heroes team and an Overwatch team.
there are
Why does the heroes team hate the Overwatch team? Well, the Overwatch team gets everything they want and the heroes team gets nothing they want. Sort of the same mentality seems to have existed. I don't know if that's how it was at Blizzard. I'm just talking about.
I know that there's those kind of problem. There's friction at Blizzard between teams. That I can say.
So it was that mentality. Well, EA sent the Mass Effect team over to help push the game out near the end. And the Mass Effect team came, and the report says that they eventually got to a point where the Mass Effect team stopped inviting Dragon Age teams to meetings with EA. They completely excluded their team from meetings about the Dragon Age game. They told them that they thought the writing was bad. Tonally, which even they do admit that like they were writing for a live service multiplayer game. They weren't writing for a dark brooding RPG. And that's why we have such strong tonal shifts, because the Mass Effect team came in and said the writing's bad. We need to rewrite it. And they said, well, we don't have time. Also, there's a voice acting strike going on and we can't hire anybody to re-record stuff. So there was that. The funny thing is whether you hate Dragon Age Veilguard or love it, it seems like there's one part of the game that everybody agrees was the best part of the game, which was the finale. That was done almost entirely by the Mass Effect team.
Oh shit.
And this is where my maybe a little bit of, well, what if the next Mass Effect's good though?
Yeah.
kind of thought comes in, because the one part that everyone kind of says is good was apparently the Mass Effect team's doing.
I remember us talking about it, and you guys said
overall good.
You guys said
The
something
MSG was
about
great.
you said something about how the final bit felt like Mass Effect 2's ending. Don't I remember somebody saying something like that?
No, I said that. It's because like there's basically one person, I think, when your NPCs can die, and it's like a question of what you did. And that's
there's
there was a moment in Mass Effect 2
yeah.
where I think it was just my run of Mass Effect 2 where like my Tali Zarel died, and I guess I didn't do her companion mission or something like that, or I don't know what it was.
Picked her for the wrong thing.
She took a rocket to the face.
You got to pick her for your own personal love fantasies. That's what you pick her for.
It came as a shock when I was playing it. I was just like, "Oh shit, she died." What? Like it was very like, huh? And
I had Thane die in my first run of Mass Effect 2, and I was like, "Well, he was dying anyway."
Oh,
and you look up that stuff after and realize, oh, that wasn't just like a story they wrote. It was like it's your story based on your decisions.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's cool.
I lost Thane, and I lost who's the big grunt dude that isn't called Grunt?
Rex.
No,
Grunt.
He's called something else.
Grunt.
Who's the other one?
Rex.
It wasn't Rex?
No, Rex isn't in 2.
Rex can die in the first one.
Oh,
and then you have Grunt in the second one.
My relatively recent replay of 1, he died in 1 for me, and I conflate those guys. They're the same guys, sort of.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, their personalities are different.
Yeah,
You've already had to do one Twitter apology today. Now you're going to be racist towards Krogans.
No,
as well?
Krogans are fine. They just they're a little one note. They're all Klingon likes. It's fine.
I respect the. Hey gamer, hey Krogans, we hear you.
Yeah,
You have
Krogans,
6
we've heard you.
testicles.
No, you know what? I'm going to push
Congratulations.
back a little bit on that because Krogans are a pest. The whole point of the Krogans is that they have a high birth rate and are exceptionally violent. So
I didn't know I was being invited on this kind of show.
I didn't know you loved Krogans so much.
That's part of the moral quandary. 'Cause isn't it the Solarian guy, the doctor?
Dr.
Like,
Goofball?
He's the doctor who made the
genophage.
genophage.
Yeah,
And it's like, okay, you don't want to be a racist? Enjoy a gajillion Krogans on your planet destroying it. You know, it's like they need to be kept in check.
Yeah, but in the end, he changed his mind.
That's true. He did. Well, did he? If you did
Well,
a certain...
he gave his life curing it.
Oh, that's
Does it
right.
depend on your playthrough, or is that always?
I think that happens, or at least happened to me. He gave his life to...
I don't remember. That's a Mass Effect 3 thing, though, right? Not 2.
Yeah.
It's all bled together. I don't remember shit.
Stuff. Yeah. I need to do a full playthrough at some point. The game's really good.
But bottom line is, John,
Remember Mass Effect.
this got you excited, maybe possibly about the new Mass Effect, is what you're saying.
Maybe.
It's such a nice, it's a little nugget you found at the base of this story, but
it's still the EA of it all. Like the fact of the matter is, like, it seems to be like under poor management. EA just seems to like hate that company, hate BioWare.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like,
It doesn't.
They're like, we need to give them
faith.
everything we can to get that BioWare thing. It's that whole BioWare magic. BioWare magic is like somehow schlepping something out the door now, in spite of overwhelming bullshit. Like, it's like
it's so
various corporate levels. Like,
such a bummer.
And I will say this: like, it doesn't. At the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that for a lot of people, they put out a video game that a lot of people didn't like, and they charged a lot of money for it. You're still allowed to not like it. It's not our job to know the stories of these devs, although if you want to learn them, I think it's good. I think it's good to educate yourself. I think this was a good lesson to learn into how the process works. And, there's not necessarily an excuse for it, but it is good to get understanding of it. That's what this offered. And my hope would be that someone at EA would learn a lesson from this. I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be nice.
It would be nice, wouldn't
it?
It
won't. They're not making Dead Space 2. They made an awesome Dead Space. They made an awesome Dead Space remake. They nailed it. You know what they said? Nah, we're not gonna make part 2. You love that. You love Dead Space. We can't do a second one.
I mean, they were gonna, and then they canned it, right? Because it was underway.
They were talking to Hideo. Maybe Andrew Wilson was there, and he smiled really brightly with his shiny teeth, and and he was like, "Guys, Hideo is making his game less good. Now we need to make our games less good. Dead Space remake was too good.
Maybe that was it. You never know. Yeah. I mean, it was done deal. They were doing it, and then they canned it because it didn't sell on it. The first one didn't sell on it.
I am not sure that Andrew Wilson isn't actually an android.
No, isn't he? I think he's just
even the name.
I just don't think he likes and plays video games.
Just look a picture of him and tell me that's not a robot pretending to be a man.
Hold on. Did you post
maybe a robot pretending to be a man?
Android. Whoops.
No, not Android Wilson. This is a Freudian slip there, Scott.
Yeah, it sounds like
Andrew Wilson, EA, and just look at his picture and just tell me that's not the first.
All right, pulling it up. Oh yeah, he's got Zuckerberg levels of Android. He looks like the Quantic Dream game, where what was that called? They all had little ports on their necks.
See, Zuckerberg looks like an alien to me. He looks like an android.
I mean, they're both pretty droidy.
They're not passing the what's the test where the Uncanny Valley. I'm getting Uncanny Valley.
It's like Turing test for some reason.
Yeah.
It's this kind of face. I make this face when I see him. Henry
he used to be a meme.
I love Henry. Henry's become my favorite thing about video games lately. I freaking love him.
He's an amazing character.
Henry, and it is an amazing person with a great.
You know what? He really does have kind of like look into your soul. I'm actually scanning your outsides. Look at this face.
Yeah.
They're
like,
too symmetrical.
They were like, here's the G-Man in Half-Life 3. I'd be like, oh, wow, graphics have come a long way.
You're the new Source Engine.
He takes those photos and puts them out there, and he's like, because this is a CEO, right? Like, his image matters. Like, you know, like Trump took down that fat painting of him, because he saw it and went like, that doesn't reflect me. I need to look tough and stuff. And so this guy's like getting photos taken. He's like, yeah, this looks great. And then it's like, no, like, can you be a little more candid? Or that's a nicer.
That one's okay.
I'm just gonna leave this one here. We're just gonna leave it here
because he's rubbing against my cheek. No,
make him smaller. Make him smaller. Make him nobody.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Funny.
Well, anyway, there's that. Check this out. I was not sold, by the way. I was not sold on this new Donkey Kong game coming out in July. When I'd first seen it previewed.
One more thing before you get into this.
All right, go ahead,
because
John.
I think you're missing some continuity with last week. You picked a real bad time to take such a strong stance on your anti-Pauline propaganda.
I know.
You were here last week. Pauline throwing her right under the bus.
Yeah.
as a character?
Let's
as
be
a human being.
Let's be clear. The Pauline as presented in Super Mario Odyssey is the one that annoys me. All other representations of Pauline are fine. They're fine. Her original Donkey Kong's captive, fine. Racing around with her in Mario Kart, not a problem. Seeing her play tennis, she's great. No problem. Or is that Daisy? I don't know if Pauline's in there.
Daisy.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. They may have added Pauline later.
Can't remember.
Daisy
But
definitely.
all of that stuff is fine. But then up till this point, they've shown very little about the DK game, except that it looked like you can do some destruction stuff. But they have really done a poor job of selling me on it until this direct. And we'll get to the Pauline part in a second. This little package rock thing, it turns out that's like a teenage Pauline. Not even teenage. She's like 11 or 12 or something, this kid. It'll open up and you'll see her in a second. But somehow they get together. We don't know the truth. We don't know all the story about how the rock got down there, why she's Pauline inside. Like there's some questions about this. I'm fine with this, except now it opens up a whole bag of new questions. If Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong, I think that's established lore somewhere. This is not the regular Donkey Kong that we know and love. Well, if that's true, why is Pauline like 12?
Also, Diddy Kong and Dixie Kong are rolling around.
Yeah, they're here.
Which means this is the Donkey Kong from Donkey Kong Country, who is supposed to be the, grandson or nephew of the Donkey Kong from the original Donkey Kong. Here's what I think this has actually opened up. Before we talk about the game, let's get the most important detail out of the way.
Do it.
What we've learned here today, if we've learned anything at all, is this. Mario is a villain, and he's clearly a villain because Donkey Kong, he had to save, and yeah, I did quotes.
Mm-hmm.
He had to save Pauline from Donkey Kong, right?
Yeah.
Who we now see, it turns out they're like best friends. It's like friggin' Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope von Schweetz over here having a good time till Mario shows up to rescue her. Then you have Bowser. Bowser is the best dad in the Mushroom Kingdom. Hands down.
Okay.
Who do they use for their pamphlets on how to do Nintendo safety features and parental controls? Bowser. Look it up. Who's covering his kid's eyes so he doesn't see games that aren't appropriate? Bowser. He's a good dad.
You're right.
But Mario has to come save Princess Peach from Bowser.
Yeah.
Even though in their own movie they make it clear that Peach is way more capable than Mario. So I don't think she's really getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
And I think Mario's saving is again a little bit of a white knight complex.
Okay.
So one last bit of evidence before I say unequivocally Mario is the villain of the piece. Wario. Most people call Wario the evil Mario.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, the M's upside down. He's evil Mario. What is Wario like? Yeah. He likes eating onions. Well, who the hell doesn't?
Yeah.
He likes making money.
Yeah.
Sure, we could all use a little more money. And he likes making cool video games.
Sure.
Those are the three traits that we know about Wario. What an evil guy that guy sounds like.
Yeah.
He's got to be stopped. So I think Mario has been the problem all along.
Him and his shit brother,
this
right?
Game proves it.
Him and his jackass brother.
Luigi's fine.
Oh, okay.
Luigi seems like maybe he's the one who knows because he's so timid and shy, and he's just like everybody's like, "Hey, Luigi, your brother's pretty good, right?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, let's go," and he just has to go because Mario said he'd hurt him if he told the truth.
Yeah.
So I think Mario has been the villain all along. And I think this game finally proves it, and finally the truth is coming out.
Okay, so maybe this game will expose a whole bunch of stuff and support your position, and I don't doubt it. Now that you've explained it to me, I actually kind of like this. However, that being said, here's my big thing. I'm stoked about this game now. I'm getting this day one. First of all, it's my birthday, so I'm going to splurge on myself. Second of all, it's also a $10 less than
how you celebrate regularly.
It's only $69 as opposed to the $79 that everything else is, and much of the team is the department over there at Nintendo that made Odyssey, which I just beat and I'll talk about later. for the second time. And I think that's the greatest thing they ever made. So a lot of similar stuff here, a lot of collectibleness, a lot of open worldness. And this destruction stuff is almost like, Red Faction Guerrilla vibe thing, which also had an effect on me this week, which we'll talk about in a minute. But anyway, the point is, I went from, whatever, no big deal, to I'm getting this game. I can't wait for this game. I'm super stoked about it. You want to
know my reaction to this whole thing? Local Nintendo hater, John
Yeager.
John anti-Nintendo Jagger.
Yeah.
I watched this and I went, should I get a Switch too?
Right?
I think this game genuinely is the closest I've come to being like, maybe I should get a Switch 2. Now, if I ever see the price of a Switch 2, I'll change that tune very quickly.
Of course.
But this is the closest I've been to being like, maybe I should get a Switch 2 because I think this game looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think this game looks awesome. I think like the first time I saw it, maybe I'm just not a fan of odd rocks named Odd Rock, but like when he was running around with a stupid little rock on his shoulder, I was like, who gives a shit? Like, congratulations, Nintendo discovered environment destruction like 30 years after it was invented. Like, way to go, Nintendo. I watched this and I went, this game looks freaking cool.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. They're playing music from Donkey Kong Country. I am curious who's doing the music, if it's the original or if they're just, riffing on the previous music. I can't remember if it was Kirkhope who did it or...
Oh, right.
There's two. There's two that I think did Donkey Kong Country, and they kind of both went in their own directions.
It looks like a pretty massive soundtrack, and you unlock tracks just like in you do that in Odyssey.
David Wise, that's
David
it. Wise and Kirkhope. I can't remember his first name. Is it Grant?
Grant Kirkhope? I can't remember. Look at the banana mode, King Bonanza.
Anyway, the two of them did amazing tracks for Donkey Kong Country. This is definitely playing into some of those. You got your Cranky Kong, your Diddy Kong, your Dixie Kong all showing up in this too. Destructible environments. His roid rage infused transformations are maybe the one thing that I think doesn't look great about this, but the way you use them to get around is really cool.
And they're temporary, so they're
just temporary.
They're power-ups.
Things, so it's just kind of goofy.
They're like ultimates, and then there's these three gods that you get imbued with their power. One of them's a bird, one's a bigger ape, and then the other one's a zebra, I guess.
Yeah, I genuinely think, say what you will, and I'll say, so far, the Nintendo Switch 2 has one game, and when this comes out, it'll have a second game for it, and I think that's 2 for 2.
When you mean, when John says that, we know what he means. He means that they have one first-party game and one first-party game coming. There's tons of games, including first-party games that are for both devices and work fine. But I know what you mean. I just want to clear that before the emails come. We know. Yeah,
well, you're the one who's going to read them. So, if you want to get in the way of me saying something that's going to generate emails, but I meant what I said.
Sure.
I think this is 2 for 2 in terms of the Nintendo games. This looks amazing.
Switch 2 has 2 good games.
Yeah.
That's great.
If it hits 4,
and we know Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
There'll be Metroid Prime 4, so we know about a third game.
Yeah, we know about all. I expect nothing but class out of their first party stuff or their closely held third party working with them.
I could play Metroid Prime 4 on my Switch that I have somewhere.
Yeah, but it's going to run like shit.
Yeah, but I don't have to spend $500 to find out.
This is a good point. It's a fair point. Well, anyway,
don't you want to play the new Mario Kart? It looks awesome.
It is awesome.
I do. Well, that's the 1 for 1. This is 2 for 2. And then
we're going to find out what the number is where you're like, I can't hold back.
The biggest problem is just how expensive Nintendo games are, because the console itself is expensive, and it's like, oh man, it's so expensive. Well, if it was then a case of, but now I'll play all these games, but it's not. It's like, oh god, the console's expensive and the games are almost just as much.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you don't buy date everything?
Yeah, but Nintendo doesn't rarely discounts their first party games. Titles. Very rare. Yeah. And that's annoying.
I mean, like a couple like that, like, how many skips on some other platforms are worth that. You know, if you were to think about
I
how
see
much
what you mean.
spend in a month.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
That's a good point. $240 games. Like, it's easy to get wrapped up in, well, I could buy 5 games on Steam. Yeah, but are they as good as Donkey Kong Bonanza? I don't know. I'm not even saying this is good yet. I don't know.
Me. Like a lot of the times my purchases are like, oh, I don't have some money for video games. And then you see a $20 indie game. You're like, well, I got $20. Like, I'm just being stingy. And then you spend, and you do that 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And then that would have been a Switch game if you would have planned it out a little differently. But that's why we complain about the high prices, because the low prices actually converts to sales. Unlike marginal things where you're like you didn't wake up and be like, I want Donkey Kong so bad. And you look at this, you say, it looks really fun, but you're not like, you know, like Claire Obscure, you saw it and you're like, man, I really want to play this, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, but so it's just like, it's a price point that makes it hard to check out the game, I guess. You know, like you're just like,
Well, they have demos,
Like
but yeah, you're right.
no, but like if you're spending 100, I guess it's 100 for me. I don't know, what 80 for you guys.
80. Well, this one's 70,
spent-
but yeah.
Like if I'm spending 100, it's because I know I want it. It's not because I'm like, oh, I'll just check this thing out for $100. It's just like, it's still enough money to be like, oh no, I need to play this. Like you feel that way now, Scott.
Mhm.
So that when you buy it, you're like, well, I want it. You know,
Yeah.
not like, oh, I'm going to check out this game.
Right.
But like, think of all the purchases you do on Steam that are just like, let me. It's Homeless Simulator where you flash your penis at people. Oh, I'm in. You know, $10. Let's go.
That
Like,
literally
you
exists.
don't think
It's
twice
called Bum Simulator, and it exists.
about it. Right. You're like, you don't even think twice about it. You're just like, whatever, $10. Who gives a
Yeah,
crap?
it's $7.50.
Let's go.
Sure.
Fire it off. Let's do it.
It's like an trip to the
but
arcade.
$100, you got to be like, okay, how much do I really want to pretend in a video game to show my penis to people?
Oh yeah, that game would never fly that way. But this is the thing we keep talking about Nintendo and why they get to be in their rarefied air is because they make like it's easy to go. It's very dismissive, but easy to say. Well, they're a toy company, okay. But guess what, dude? If we want to call these toys, they're some of the best in the world. Like nobody makes better games.
Yeah, toy doesn't mean bad. Some people say it in derogatory ways. I don't mean.
Yeah, I know you guys don't mean it that way, but I just mean in general. It's easy for people to say, "Oh, it's Kirby's for kids." Well, yeah, but Kirby's also one of the best freaking side scrollers ever made, and I also like his 3D games. Like they're really good games, and they tend to inform other aspects of gaming years and years and decades down the road. Like they've earned this position they're in. And I'm not saying this isn't me justifying this at all. If $70 sounds like too much to play a new Donkey Kong game, people should absolutely not do it. But this direct sold me so hard, dude. Just showing me gameplay. There's no movies, there's no CG, there's none of that. It's just like, here's what you do in the game. And now I'm getting it.
I know saying this is going to get me labeled a pervert, and that's fine.
Do it. You and Pauline.
Biggest issue,
Yep.
no.
Oh.
My biggest
Your biggest issues.
My biggest issue was Donkey Kong in pants.
Oh, right.
And it seems like the costume will let you go pantsless as Donkey Kong,
Yeah.
and that solves one of my primary concerns.
Solved. John's all good because he can not have to wear pants. You also get home. You can build a house and decorate it. That's pretty cool. I like that.
That's pretty cool.
I think Stellar Blade has affected you.
You think so?
Because now I just want to play as protagonist without pants.
Yeah, stinky butts.
You're like, oh, there's options for less clothes,
stinky
and now
butts.
you're like,
Stinky butts.
Yeah.
There's something wrong about Donkey Kong in pants.
definitely has a stinky butt.
I think the problem is that when you put pants on a character that doesn't normally wear pants, you now become aware of the fact that they're not wearing pants.
Yeah.
Sure,
you know what
but
I
it's
mean?
like
Like
a
Donald
silly
Duck
video game. Who
seems totally
cares?
normal and innocent, but if he puts on pants, then all of a sudden he's not wearing pants the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think it would be an improvement. Like it's not where you're used to, but I think it's time they put pants on Donald Duck. It's fine.
I mean, yeah, we've been long enough
I've
without
seen
it.
enough of his undercarriage for a lifetime.
I tend to agree. You can, by the way, you can change the color of his fur in this game, so you can like have pink Donkey Kong, you can have red Donkey Kong.
With kind of reddish orangish fur, which made him look like is it Lanky Kong, the one that's like he's a hell of a guy, which is the Kong that's a hell of a guy.
Oh my God. Is he firing out words?
Yeah, she is. Pauline is because she's a singer.
Player mode.
Yeah, that's the 2-player stuff, which I'll probably never touch. But unless I co-op with Van or something. But this right here is a sculpture mode. You can make all kinds of ugly sculptures where you're just like, it's so Nintendo. Everything about this, and my worry up to this was A, why is it $10 less than all the other first party games, and B, why does it, or what are we doing in it that's unique or different? And as it turns out, they're making a proper ass like Nintendo packed, gotta catch it all, gotta collect it all kind of thing here. It's best I can tell. And
I mean, this looks like we don't have a Super Mario game. Here's your Super Mario game.
Kind of, yeah.
And except now it's Donkey Kong and Pauline, which might be a duo that I like better.
Yeah, maybe. I still have issues with her age, but whatever, it's fine. We'll make it work. Lore is fluid.
The lore.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden she's young. Maybe she's like Pauline's daughter, Pauline.
Could be. Pauline begat Pauline.
His name's Mario and Luigi Mario.
Yep, you're right.
The Mario brothers.
This is long before she would become mayor of New Donk City, based on.
Yeah, she named the city after him, so you can't tell me he was abducting her.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And there's some serious Donkey Kong imagery and mini game stuff happening in New Donk City. Why do I know this? Because I may have just beaten that game again. We'll talk about it. Don't worry, that's coming up. Let's talk now, though, about Final Fantasy Tactics and that it was harder than we assumed, as it's another case of missing source code. I didn't know that. What happened there?
Yeah, they were out here talking about why it's been so long because people have been asking for a new Final Fantasy Tactics or a remaster of it for a long time. And I just thought this was an interesting story. It came out that basically this is a case of the source code for Final Fantasy Tactics doesn't exist. And so they basically, in order to make this game, had to go back. They played through the games repeatedly and were coding off of their play experiences to try and recreate it. And they didn't have a easy way to just get in and build the game off of what was already there. They kind of had to do it from the ground up.
Damn, that's
which
hard.
Which was why they had to brute force that. Now, there was a version that came out later called the War of the Lions edition.
Yeah.
And that content is not going to be in this re-release.
Right.
They said that basically that was not part of the original release. Their goal has been to recreate that, not to bring in the version that came later. So that might be a deal breaker for some people. I already see T-Money in the chat saying
T-Money.
They really loved the additions. But apparently they disagree. They didn't put it in there.
They're not into it. Yep.
Yep. They're like, nope, we're remaking the original game as it was, not the re-release of it. So.
I admire the attention to getting it right without. I mean, that's a huge. They basically had to remake the game.
Yeah.
And that's so when they say remake, you're not kidding. Like,
yeah,
this isn't a remaster.
Although I think they're going to call it like a remaster, but it's like, no, we basically remade that thing.
Yeah. And so what that also tells me now that we know that they remade it twice. They remade the core experience, which you can play, but you can also flip to the more modernized, interface, graphics and stuff like that. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by that. That makes me want to buy it just to support that shit. That kind of work.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we need more people to do. Not to go, well, here's the easy money, but we're going to do what we want because we care about this thing. So
yeah, I'm actually excited about that now. That's wild. See, this is how you sell more copies, Hideo Kojima. You tell people how great your game is and don't go, it was too good. We had to scale back the goodness. The frick. I still think context is everything and translation issues and all of that, but still there's a part of my brain that just recoils at that comment. Just like, what are you doing? Our game was too good. We had to make it a little worse.
Well, I could see if they were
a little bit worse.
Yeah, I could see if they were making shovelware.
Yeah,
then it's like, okay, like if there's some, they're like, yeah, it's too good. We're making a Facebook game.
Yeah,
but like,
it's so odd.
He's like him. So it's just such a weird thing to say. Yeah.
I like Tezzeret Dynamite's name for it. Final Re-Fantasy Tactics. Nice. Re-Fantasio? Wait. What am I thinking of?
Fantasia.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, let's get into our final story before the break. Christopher Perkins and Jeremy Crawford. This is a big deal. Longtime Wizards of the Coast D&D designers. These names are synonymous with the product. You do not usually think of D&D without these two names. Honestly, besides Gygax and some of those OG people, I mean, these are the names. They are now hired by Darrington Press, which is Critical Role's publishing thing. I'd read into it however you want, but I'm guessing this means huge things for Critical Role and their new play system, and it means bad things for Wizards of the Coast potentially to lose those guys.
I mean, there was already a lot of just a lot of like Daggerheart's coming, and there's a lot of fans of Critical Role, and people's stock is real low on the D&D branch of Wizards of the Coast. But they've been saying that for a long time, right? It's just like, do this system, play other TTRPGs, but Dungeons and Dragons endures and is the huge part of the market. And like, D&D and Critical Role have like partnered on things, in the past over the years and stuff. I mean, I think Matt's even written books for the 5th edition, some of the 5th edition stuff. So
early on, yeah.
It's so in the context of that, it's kind of interesting. I mean, those guys have worked. I know Christopher Perkins. I've watched an interview. He's worked at Wizards for a long time. I'm sure Jeremy Crawford has probably as well. I don't know as much about him, but they're often seen in interviews. They're seen as leadership for 5th edition. Mike Merles is another name that's there, but he retired a while ago. He's been making the rounds in interviews and stuff. Yeah. But so we knew they were leaving Wizards after the 2025 edition came out, and that was already kind of, you can kind of look at it, and I don't think they ever confirmed because they're professionals and they're not here to make controversies, that just it's time for them to retire, right? Work on new projects. Yeah. But then for them to go directly to what is seen as like now competition, because I don't think Critical Role has been working collaboratively with Wizards for some time. I don't know what the T is on, the falling out, except for what we all sort of assume, which is just Hasbro being shitlords. And, but who knows all the details.
I mean, the Hasbro CEO just walking around the office going, AI's the future. Freaking someone put an AI-sized dildo in my butthole. I love it so much.
Yeah,
maybe you took that too far, but you know what I'm saying. He loves AI.
No. He was there saying like, "Oh, I love AI and I'd love to play D&D with AI doing it." Like in the AI cult, like, but does he not like a lot of people who hype this stuff up? Not a person who works with it and understands it. Just spouting out whatever the big thing is that everyone needs
what
to
he
get
can
behind.
to try to get shareholders to buy in. That's what it is.
Sure, but historically D&D has been a tough product for them. Because you don't really need much, and they just they can make cool stuff with it, but they're just not. And
even Larian's like,
what a thing!
We're not working with them again.
That. I mean, it's clearly the writing's on the wall that like people love Dungeons and Dragons, but they're done with whatever the hell it is that Wizards Hasbro, whatever's going on there. Everyone kind of wants to be free from it. In fact, I just want to be free from it, even though I'm not playing currently and not that invested. I'm just sick of hearing about them, to be honest. I would, just be glad for them to go away.
Yeah.
But they own the thing, and of course, it's never gonna. Then they're gonna keep pumping it until it's in the ground, and if somebody buys it, maybe, I don't know. But what a thing for them to be going to a Critical Role, which we just earlier in the show showed, like they are doing record-breaking things in the TTRPG space. Like it's not going to hit CNN necessarily as like the biggest mainstream news, but like that kind of success and notoriety and goodwill towards these folks who do the live stream D&D, no one even comes close to what they do. And they just released a new TTRPG, Daggerheart, which I play tested and sent some comments in, by the way.
You like it?
But I was hesitant about it and remain so. No, one thing I'll tell you some of my thing was they don't use D20, and D20 is a holy grail. and to sit down and play a TTRPG and not use a D20 seems like a huge flaw.
That is weird.
So I told them that. And also, I've played TTRPGs with cards before, and I don't love it. And I told them that I find their system very prescriptive. But I didn't see any of my changes implemented. But whatever, it's their product. It's cool. I wasn't expecting it. I just was worried maybe I came off like too much of a dick after I already pushed send, and I was like, well, I hope I hope nobody's like, wait a second, aren't those core guys? This guy's an asshole.
It's like, Liam, don't you listen to those guys? Are they this big of dicks?
I don't. That's what I mean. I don't know. I'm just like, I signed into everything, and I'm like, I think I was maybe a little too critical. I don't know. Anyways, whatever. But
Liam, your core people are being huge dicks in our email today. We're out of here.
We're done.
I was a little worried about it. Okay,
this reflects poorly on you, Liam. This is your
fault.
Your character's gonna get killed in the next episode.
Yeah, I'm sure they got worse. It is, after all, the internet that exposed themselves to. There's no way anything I wrote was that bad, honestly, on the scale of things. But I really thought not doing D20s is really.
That does seem mechanically
when I
strange.
sit down to play the game, I want graph paper, even if I don't need to use it, and I want my dice.
Yeah,
and that's always a drawback to me. Like even the Cyberpunk system, all the other systems, when they're like, it's a D10 system, I'm like, you don't understand how much of how just fun it is to have the polyhedrals around, and sucks not to have them in your game. But I did. It's one thing I heard is that this thing's like #1 on Amazon. The pre-sales for this thing has like been ass blasting. Amazon and their publishing thing. So I thought, I'm never going to get my hands on a copy. Everyone's saying it's sold out everywhere. I was on Amazon yesterday. I was looking at prices for something else that I'll talk about later when we get to what we played. But I saw that the core rules, which was $75, was on sale for 33% off. It was like $40 Canadian, something like that.
Not bad.
I was like, whoa. I was kind of out on 75, and I'm like, maybe I'll see the free rule set or whatever, because I am curious to see what the final product is. And I think people on the show would be curious. So,
I'd be curious about that. Yeah.
I thought I'd buy it. So I was like, you know what? I'll buy this thing with this kind of a discount. And I'm like, this thing's #1 on Amazon, and they're discounting it this much. This must be selling like crazy. I should
curious. Check it out too.
This must be just
I looked at Shadow Dark, and I would love to play Shadow Dark. It looks great and is awesome, but I'm always down to see more of what other people are doing too. I should get this.
Yeah, well, this thing
on sale.
Yeah.
So people that are fans are like, I think probably quick to raise a flag and go like, finally we have a competitor to D&D. D&D's going down, Daggerheart's going up. I'm not sure that that's the case, but clearly it has a lot of fans and a lot of interest. And I think one of the things that they're trying to do is something that's in alignment with my view on it, which is just to make the game more accessible, less cognitive load. That's the whole point of the cards. And one of the things that the feedback that they might have, I don't know if it came from me, I don't have an ego like that, but you can make your own cards. So, if you don't like the way they design like the Ranger class, because the Ranger's just always so bad in every, I never like the way they do Rangers. They're not magic users, please.
Yeah.
That I could just build all my own cards and run my own homebrew game with the Daggerheart system, but not use their abilities. Like they had some silly ones that felt like they were ripped out of World of Warcraft, and I'm like, that's like a warrior in Fury Warrior in World of Warcraft has a thing called Bloodthirst, which is a button you press that does damage and it heals you for 3%. But that doesn't really ever happen. You don't,
it's very video gamey. Yeah,
it's video gamey, and it's like there was kind of stuff like that where it's like you get adrenaline rush, which means you get a point, and I'm like, that's video gamey, board gamey. It's so I could see myself getting Daggerheart and feeling like getting picky and not liking it. But to be fair to Daggerheart, D&D has also gone down this route as well. So I couldn't. It wouldn't be fair to drag their game without also dragging D&D.
Well,
I
and
don't know
will
why
also
making a
say
trap is a spell in D&D as a ranger. It's so stupid.
That we necessarily know for sure if Christopher Perkins and Jeremy Crawford are there to work on Daggerheart.
Yeah, we don't know.
No, we don't.
They were hired by Darrington Press, which makes a lot of games. In fact, I have played and own one of their games. I own Ukatoa, which was a fun game. And I really enjoyed that. So it could be that I mean, it would be weird for them to have what is essentially a seemingly direct competitor and then bring them in to make another seemingly direct competitor game, but that could be the case. We don't know necessarily what they're working on. So but they are extremely talented individuals. Christopher Perkins is, in a roundabout way, probably the most responsible for me even giving a try to Dungeons and Dragons ever, unintentionally, because it was hearing him DM for the first time. That was my first experience with D&D outside of just knowing of it, way back in 4th edition era. So they've been around for a long time. They're very influential. And I think that's an amazing get for them.
You bring up a good point, because Daggerheart's not the first TTRPG they've done. Candela Obscura is another one system they have. So it's possible Daggerheart's just this like one-off like project, the same way Candela Obscura is, that they'll promote and play and whatever. And who knows, maybe they'll make Dragons and Dungeons, and that's why they hired those
Dragons and Dungeons, still D&D. That's great.
Yeah, I don't know what. So, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they're gonna take their shot. They have 2 sort of test runs, making smaller TTRPGs and systems, and maybe there's something. Maybe this is a sign in a few years' time there'll be like something big that's everything that those 2 wanted to do but couldn't because their hands were tied at Wizards, and now they're gonna work with Crit Role to make the new thing. But it's an interesting space. It's just huge. That's a big. I think people do pay attention to what goes on in the TTRPG space, but I think you have to really be into it. But this is kind of, to me, it's very seismic. It's a big shift.
Yeah, it's a big deal,
and it's a big. Yeah.
And Liam, I know you're listening. If you want to spill any tea or popcorn in this lobby, let us know.
I have no doubt that he does not.
He probably does not. Sure. He probably cannot. But if he wanted to,
he's probably shrinking right now. If he's in his garage or whatever, wherever he listens to us, he hides away and doesn't admit to anyone.
He's like, "Oh man, they called me out again.
Damn it! Jeez. Not supposed to say my name, guys.
here's your cease and desist, fellas."
Yeah. I realized I pinged him the other night because it hit me. There are 3 or 4 games I play, I come back to all the time that he is in a ton of. And it's always a little weird because I don't do that on purpose. It's not like I went to these games for Liam, but they just are there. So when I play Fallout New Vegas, Liam's all over that shit. When I play Elder Scrolls Online, he is all over that game. And when I go back to Red Faction Guerrilla, he's the brother at the beginning. It's like the impetus for the story, for the whole motivation to like go avenge him and stuff. And it's just like hard to get away from him. So take that. This is us giving back. This is us saying your name because I hear you all the time. Now you have to hear your name. Is that how that works?
Yep, that's an equivalent exchange right there. That is show alchemy is what I just heard.
He's a very fun, easygoing dude who's probably laughing at us right now.
It sounds like for the privilege of saying his name, I'll get you guys, because I already bought it, free copies of Daggerheart.
Yeah, I don't see why that couldn't happen.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Liam. You don't have to give us anything.
Yeah, we're joking. Yeah.
Joke, we kid. We have a good time.
People love our content when we beg.
Oh, they love it when we say, "Hey, the 3 hosts."
We don't hear about how shitty that is in our Discord.
No, people love it.
I don't own this game, but it'd be really great if one of you listened to it.
Yeah, people love it
for me. And by the way, don't forget there's 3 of us.
Yeah, don't forget the 3 hosts.
And to $300, please.
3 host rule, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back from said break, we are going to do a Dear Martha game show. We are going to talk about our week in gaming and a few more things after that. So please, please, please come back. We're back, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there. We have taken a break, and that means it's time for Dear Martha. Yeah, that's right. Let's get a letter home from the front lines and find out what's going on up there in the war. John is one of these game showy ones, right? How are we doing this?
Yeah, we're going to do Find the Flaw again. I don't remember what the score was, but I do remember Beau had half a point. I think he has 1.5.
Oh no, I got
points now.
1.5 now. Can
Yeah,
you guys
okay.
hear me? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
He's at
Don't worry
one-
about
he's
the
at
chat. Ignore them.
1.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scott, I
1.5.
think you're at. Did Scott get a point at some point?
I thought I
feel
got
like there was one you knew.
Yeah, he got a point.
So are we? It's 1 to 1.5 at the moment.
Okay.
All right.
I have some
think we're gonna
memory-
Go with that. You know what? We're gonna call it that, even if it's not true.
Okay.
And if that's the flaw, then that's on me.
Yeah, it's on you.
So
It's
yeah,
John
what
problem.
we're doing is I'm going to read a Dear Martha letter. Somewhere in this description of an old video game is a factual inaccuracy that must be corrected by the internet. It is basically actually retitled Find the Flaw. And we're going to have fun doing it. I think we're ready.
All right.
You guys know the
By the
rules.
way,
We've
Scott
done
got
this
the
before.
point for the Kyle Katarn letter, I think.
Oh,
No, you guys didn't get that one, right?
Did-
Because you didn't know that there was the Death Star was the first level.
oh, right. I didn't have it. Yeah, I didn't win that.
Yeah.
I don't know what we.
I don't know.
No, then he doesn't have a point then, because the one before that was the Nest Blast.
I never have a point. Oh, you mean like points? I get it.
Yeah. Well, this is his chance to
I'll
catch
be
up
here all
then.
week. All right, here goes then. Let's play your music and see how we do.
My dearest Martha, let's talk about Super Mario Kart. That's right, the OG original Mario Kart game that started it all on the Super Nintendo way back in 1992. Sometimes overshadowed by 1996's Mario Kart 64, it's still undeniable the impact that this game had, and it's often credited for starting the kart racing genre, a type of game that Sony, Sega, and even Nintendo themselves have tried to make waves in since. The first game used the SNES's Mode 7 graphics to simulate a 3D racetrack and offered an impressive 20 tracks, including the most famous of the bunch, Rainbow Road, which would become a staple of the series. In addition to a variety of tracks, you could also pick from a collection of 8 characters, including Mario, Bowser, Donkey Kong, Yoshi, Toad, and more. They also had special CPU items that they would deploy when being controlled by the CPU, such as eggs for Yoshi, fireballs for Bowser, or star power for the Mario Brothers. An interesting game mechanic I did not know about until I got older was that picking up coins would actually increase your kart's top speed up to 10 times. But that just goes to show how much was there even from the very first game, because I didn't even mention the battle mode, time trial mode, or the various difficulty levels you run the standard cup races at. And now, just 33 short years later, you can pay $90 just to see how far we've come. Yours in this life and the next, Diddy Kong Racing is better, 0-0.
Oh shit! John throwing down the gauntlet. I know a lot of people agree with you. Okay.
I love Diddy Kong Racing.
Diddy Kong
so
Racing is
much.
pretty freaking great. You're not wrong. I wish they would redo that. Okay. So I have an idea, Beau. I have an idea. I'm buzzing
And
in.
ding in. It's a race. Don't give Beau time.
I'm buzzing
Ding
in. It's 20 tracks.
Okay.
That seems excessive. I think it's less than 20.
Incorrect. There's 20 tracks.
Okay. Another ding. Ding. 33 years. That's not long. Wait. That might be. Actually, that's about right. Never mind. Forget about that.
It was such a quick answer to himself.
Yeah, forget it. Beau, do you have any?
I'm reading through the letter again because no, I don't have any. And I'm like trying to find it.
I made notes even.
Mode
Mode 7 is correct.
20
7 tracks. For
impressive. Was there 20 tracks?
Well, that's one I just. He says yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what you
Scott
just
guessed
guessed,
that,
huh?
and it wasn't right for Scott. And Beau, I'm sorry, it's also wrong.
Well, I wasn't buzzing in. I was. Just,
okay. You're just thinking out
I'm
loud.
trying to. I realize I'm reading through it. And I'm like, this is not great podcast content. Where it's like, excuse me, everyone, I'm reading.
No, you're doing good.
Oh!
Me being sarcastic towards you is great.
Ding.
podcast content.
Ding.
It's Scott with a ding. Yes, hello.
1996 for Mario Kart 64. I believe that was 98 or 7.
It's 96.
What's a CPU item?
Is this are you pointing this out, or do you just want more
I'm just
information on the
asking, yeah.
CPU item?
What do you mean? See, in a variety of tracks, you can also pick from a collection of 8 characters. I think there were 8 characters, so because there had to be 8 positions, so there's 8 characters.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know if
that's
don't
right.
think
He just says and
they also
more.
had special CPU items that they would deploy
Yeah.
when being controlled by the NPCs.
Eggs by Yoshi, fireballs by Bowser.
I'm gonna ding in. Ding.
Okay. Yep. Beau with a ding.
Yoshi doesn't have eggs.
He does when he's controlled by the CPU, which I will say is something that I didn't realize, but that's because I always played as Yoshi.
Of course you freaking did.
I don't like that made you mad.
I'm so mad. Nah, it just seems like troll move. I don't know why even.
Ding in again.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Beau.
Coins didn't increase your top speed.
They do. That's the point of collecting coins, which I didn't understand back in the day beyond just like Mario game has coins in them. But yeah, as soon as you get 10 coins, your cart is now going at its top speed.
Oh, I have one.
Yep.
Hello, China.
That's my ding in.
Yep.
33 short years later, you can pay $90 to see how far we've come. It's $80 in the US, and it's $50 if you buy it in the bundle. So I think that price is the wrong thing.
That to me is at the postscript joke of the letter, and I'm allowed to be a
Shit.
little pedantic in that.
Damn it.
Wow.
You got to give me credit, though, for like finding your error there. Right?
That's what everybody in the chat has really landed on, and I'm sorry I tried to make a joke to end this on a joke, but
How dare you try to be funny on this show? How dare you?
yeah.
It's something about start. Okay, bing, ding.
Yes.
The problem is it says has often been credited for starting the kart racing game, and that's true, or genre. It's credited, but it may not be the first one. Is it something in that?
No, it's often credited for starting it,
Yeah, it was
including the article I got this information from.
Damn it. Her name isn't Martha. Just kidding.
Correct. You finally landed on it after all these years.
I'm digging in.
Yes, Beau.
Probably. Oh, never mind. There is a battle mode.
This is the first time chat hasn't gotten it. I really stumped you guys. And here I thought Mario Kart was such a well-known thing. This one would be easy.
I played it a ton. I still have my original SNES cartridge.
Sorry,
somewhere.
Beau. You were making a guess. What was your guess?
Oh, it was wrong. I was going to say there's no battle mode, but I think there was a battle mode.
There was a battle mode. And actually, I used to, in battle mode, I used to play my own mini game because in the SNES version, if you shot a green shell in battle mode, it would bounce around for seemingly ever. It would just go and go and go. So we used to go to I think it was map 4, where it was a bunch of different like little rows. And we would do what we called Death Star trench runs, where we just tried to drive through after shooting as many turtle shells in them as possible and dodge turtle shells. And it was super fun. That was our own mode that we
Still
played.
as Yoshi, though, when you would do that.
Still, yeah. Oh, obviously.
I'm a Wario
Somebody
guy.
else play it.
Ever since Wario was added,
I
I know he's not the first one, but I will pick him in any other subsequent game. He's my guy. I have almost all his skins in the new game because I just love him, and his voice is different. This is a whole different topic, but he's more like I'm gonna win. It's weird.
I'm a Wario. I'm gonna win.
Yeah, it's like that instead of. They've separated him more from Waluigi. Anyway, I have one. Ding.
Yep.
You put battle mode, time trial mode, and the various difficulty levels you run the standard cup races at. They're not difficulty levels, even though they translate to them. They are speed levels.
They are speed levels, but that changes the
Shit.
difficulty, so it's still true.
More pedantism. All right.
I mean, this is all about being pedantic, so it's kind of fine, but yeah, I'm not going to give you a point for that.
Rainbow Road is not in the original game.
It is
It is.
the
Shit.
original debut of Rainbow Road. It's a real simple Rainbow Road, too, for how complicated that thing has become. You look at it
man.
and you're like, wow, the only thing about this is that it doesn't have any walls.
It's an amazing. The new one is insane. So crazy.
Was there? Hang on, ding.
Yes. A very
There's no
confident ding from Beau.
Sound like
There's
your
no
question.
fireballs in that game.
There is. When the CPU controls Bowser, they can drop fireballs, apparently.
I don't remember fireballs.
You can get them for everybody
I
now.
didn't either, and I triple checked it because I didn't believe
Okay.
it that much. And they
I
all
trust
said
you.
it's there as a CPU item.
All of
so-
these are everybody things now except for Yoshi's eggs. I do not think there's eggs in the new one that you can throw, pick up and chuck. But fireballs.
1992 seems right, but
You guys are going to be
the year.
so mad when you find out what it is. Do you want to?
Oh, wait. It's got to be 1992.
I'm pretty
It's
sure
some
that's.
other year.
I mean, that's the correct year. If John said earlier it was 30.
There's no way it's only 4 years between Super Mario Kart and Super Mario Kart 64. That's sort of what I'm gravitating on.
That's just because
that's not it.
That's just
And
because we're
also,
old.
here's the thing.
Really?
I will say this. I'm not going to say I'll never make it about the date, but I will say I have. And Chad has said what it is. I don't remember it. I have the numbers version of dyslexia. So the odds are very slim that I'm ever going to be like, you better remember your numbers. Because I don't.
Yeah.
Damn, there's only 4 years between those two games. That's such a huge jump, eh?
Yeah. 16-bit to N64 was wild. And how quickly it actually happened, we don't remember. Like the SNES was a relatively short-lived generation. It was weird.
All right, I feel like I've gone over every word, and I don't know. 33
All right,
short
you guys
years
ready? You ready to throw in the towel?
Well,
Earn no points.
Okay, one last
Find out the truth?
attempt.
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing is Better 001, our person writing in, is talking about a game that doesn't exist in 8 or in 16-bit form to compete directly with Mario Kart in 16-bit form. And so is that a thing to throw us off about there's no Diddy Kong?
No,
Okay.
that's the jokey part, but you're right. It would technically be competing with Mario 64.
All right, damn it.
All right, you ready?
Maybe it's
Yeah.
the number of characters. Is it the number of characters? I feel like it's 8, but
It is 8 characters.
I think so. I don't think we can get this one.
Man, even chat did not get it this time. Chat stumped, you guys stumped, and you're about to be angry.
Everyone's going to be angry.
The topic of this show came up quite a bit was our man Donkey Kong, who is not in the original Mario Kart. But wait, I remember him, you all say. He is in the original Super Mario Kart. No, he isn't. Donkey Kong Jr. is in Super Mario Kart, and he was later replaced in Mario 64 by actual Donkey Kong, but it is Donkey Kong Jr. with a big J on his chest.
Oh, man.
In Super Mario Kart.
I would not have been able to tell you that under duress. You could have held a gun to my head and I would have been no idea.
It's still a big guy. I'm looking at a picture, but
He is
Junior.
big.
He
He's
grew
got
up.
Big old J on his chest. Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah, DK Jr.
That's
grew
He has
up.
only
I-
appeared in 2 Mario Kart games. This being the first, and then I believe
I had
one
that
on the Game
question,
Boy Advance.
but
He
then
came
my
back.
memory, it was like, 'cause I didn't look anything up. In my memory, I'm like, well, the little ones, like who the hell's Junior?
Yeah,
He's
he's
the star
Diddy
of
Kong.
Donkey Kong Jr., where he saved
There's
Donkey
Diddy
Kong,
Kong
from
and
Mario.
there's Donkey Kong. Who's Donkey Kong Jr.?
Don't you remember Donkey Kong Jr. from the arcade? You remember him, right?
Yeah. He
You don't remember
did his
Donkey
little
Kong
vine
Jr.?
work,
Yeah.
and then he fell off the vines, and he would cry, and he'd go.
Yeah. do 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 do.
Oh, I looked up a picture of it. I do remember Donkey
Yeah.
Kong Jr.
And that was this that goes back to earlier in the show, but it starts to prove out John's point about Mario being the villain.
Yeah, Mario capturing Donkey Kong, and then his son going to free his dad
Yeah.
from the enslavement of Mario, who whips animals into attacking Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah.
All right, I don't. Look, I don't think these games are meant to be very canonical. we keep butting up against the same issue. That I just don't think they care that there's any continuity. By the way, I also looking up Donkey Kong Jr. Apparently, he had a math game,
He did.
and there's some pretty
Yeah.
funny images. I post them in Discord.
There he is right there. You know, put a beard on him,
Yeah.
and that might be Beau with a beard.
But look at the Nintendo covers I posted in Discord.
Okay. I'm pulling it up. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember these. Yeah. Hit some math
Oh
stuff.
my god! And look at this Game and Watch image. They've really come a long way with the art.
Yeah, look at Mario with his little whip.
Oh, I
He's
love
so
it.
mean. He's
He is-
such a dick.
He is a dick. Pauline's been trafficking now. He's gotten rid of her. Now he's locked up the Kong. And look at Junior going, I got a key, you dick.
I'm gonna free my dad.
Free my dad. And then I'm gonna race you. Anyway, the pantheon of Nintendo characters never ceases to entertain. Well done. That was great, John. You stumped us both. I think that's a fair stumping. I think you got us good. We just, our knowledge was tested.
That was a good one. That's a small detail. Just it's not Junior.
Nope.
That's it. That's all it is.
It ain't Junior. And if it ain't Junior, it ain't right. Whoops, wrong one. Since I've been playing a little Kirby, let's start that as the music for our week in gaming this week. In a shocking turn of events, our first shared game is something both John and I played. I did not predict this, that you would be playing this. You may have had some idea I might play it because I like dumb crap like this, but it doesn't seem like something you'd play. But anyway, we're going to find out what he thinks about it. It's Cast and Chill. It's a game on Steam where you fish. Beau's going to love this.
I'm out for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, good game of the year for Beau. Clearly, look at it. He's got a dog, a boat.
Yep.
It's nighttime.
Boat.
It's going to fish. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful pixel game. Absolutely gorgeous.
It does look pretty.
It's very pretty. It's got a very chill music, and the fishing mechanics actually kind of easy, maybe to a fault. We'll get to that in a second.
Well, we should hire this guy to do Lake Run. That's kind of
hell yeah, right?
I like how he made the water. You see into the water. That's cool.
Yeah, it is, and it goes deeper with better lures. And this one's on a bobber, but you can have different pulls and all that. This game is what you think it is. It is fishing and chilling, and you are trying to capture a bunch of fish. If you sell those fish, you can then use that money to buy new poles, new boat, better boat, faster boat, the deeper lures that can go get fish that are harder to catch, that kind of thing. You have day-night cycle, so some fish are out at certain times of the day and others at other times of the day, so fishing at night is good for certain kind of fish, and you can easily just snooze until then if you're just there to catch those new fish. It has an idle mode, so you can literally just open this up, say idle mode, and he'll go fishing and keep selling shit while you're doing work or on a meeting or whatever, and then you come back. Yeah. And then you got like 800 gold for no reason, or money, dollars, whatever it is. And you can now afford a bunch of shit you couldn't otherwise. And you really didn't have to play the game to do that, although it's slower. But yeah, it's... John, what would you add to this? It's basically what it is, right? Like,
I think that this game maybe makes the best case for Beau's argument against fishing games. Like, it's beautiful, but I did find myself very quickly going, why am I doing this? And it made me start to think. So here's the thing. I'm going to start this argument agreeing with Beau, and then I'm going to flip it around to being on the exact opposite side of Beau.
All right.
Because it made me sit here and go, why am I doing this? I don't think I'm having fun with this. I don't really like how the fishing mechanic in this fishing game works, because it's like, you cast the line by clicking and then you hold the button to reel it in, but then they say don't hold it when the fish is pulling, but the fish is always pulling.
Yeah.
So am I supposed to hold it or not?
Yeah.
And it doesn't really give you more to go on than that. It's just like, don't pull when the fish is pulling. Well, the fish is always pulling. He's trying to get away. It's the whole flipping point of the thing. And so when am I supposed to hold the button and not? So I'm overthinking it. Yeah. And I just... After a couple trips back to the dock, I was like, what the hell am I doing? And then I went, you know what? I'm playing a game that has a fishing minigame in it, and I like the fishing minigame in this game way more than this dedicated fishing game. And then I went, you know what? Maybe the problem isn't fishing minigames. Maybe the problem is fishing games. Because I
Beau's back online.
necessarily love sitting down and playing this full-on, just like, I'm here to fish, because I'm just like, what is this? I would need to do other things. This seems a little too obtuse. It's beautiful. I'll get to the compliments on it in a minute, but like, I just wasn't having a great time. And I was like, why is it that this game that should be dedicated to fishing and the like cycle between fishing and going back and getting money and upgrading and all of that, why is this less fun than I'm playing an action hack and slash game and, oh, there's a body of water with fish in it. I'm gonna fish for a little bit. This is peaceful and wonderful, and I'm having a great time. And I think the difference is, as a mini game, it's simplified. It's to the point. It's like catch a damn fish and then get on with your life and go do other things that are more interesting. And I was like, you know what? I think maybe this is the better way. Maybe fishing mini games are the way. Fishing games. It's about the fishing mini game. And that's what I like.
Yeah, I hate saying this because, well, tell me what you do like. Let's get to that, and then I'll come back around.
What I do like is this is like, I love the art, and this is a beautiful game. Like, and the fact that they knew to put like an idle mode on here so it can just sit there and just look pretty is really smart. Is there a reason why?
Are you hearing your? Okay.
Yeah,
What
there's
happened?
two of you now, Scott. I saw another Scott B. Johnson.
Okay. Zoom. Okay. Sorry, we're back. That was a temporary glitch of horrible nature. We're back now, though. Everything's fine
Oh,
now.
you're not going to share it with people? I
Scott
think
B.
they'd love it.
Johnson came in to ruin the show.
I mean, they still will hear it perhaps later, but for now, that was just horrific, and I apologize. Bottom of my soul.
Anyway, I think the knowing to put an idle mode is the play to this game's strengths, because this is the kind of thing that you just want up on your screen. It's so pretty. Like, you just look at it and it's just that it's that kind of pixel art that just sort of, you know, it's like a painting. It's nice. It's very pretty. And it is the game tells you what it is. Cast and chill. It's not like challenging fishing game. It's not, you know, deep mechanic fish simulator. It's cast and chill. That is exactly what this game is.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever accuse this game of pretending to be something it's not, and it is 100% as advertised. You go out on a lake, you can pet a dog, and you catch fish, and it's just calm.
Yeah.
That's it.
And if you want to,
kudos on them for advertising exactly what their game is and giving you exactly what they
if
said.
you want to run it in the background and just earn shit like an idle game, it literally is an idle game. Like, that's the part I didn't know when I bought it. It's cheap, by the way. I think this thing's like $6 or something. It's not very much. And the idle mode is nice if you like idle games where you can just Tamagotchi stuff, you know, leave it to do its thing, and then go back in later and make upgrades based on shit that happened while you weren't around. If that's appealing to you, and there are plenty of gamers where that is, I kind of like it too in some ways, then this is a good version of that, I think. But the actual act of playing it is pretty disappointing. Or it's just not, there's not enough there. It's just kind of...
There's not much.
No.
Again, I'm playing an action game that decided to throw in a mini game. And as it described it to me, I was like, this is too many steps, but I'm having way more fun with the too many steps complicated fishing mini game than I am this. Now, if they did a 1-to-1, if I had to catch fish in this the same way I have to catch fish in Stellar Blade, I would not be chill. Catching fish in Stellar Blade isn't chill because it's like, okay, you cast, and then you have to hit right trigger to hook it, and then you have to spam press X and pull against the line the way the fish is going, and then you have to push the R button in to the appropriate length to pull it in, and you press X a bunch. There's nothing chill about that.
Yeah.
It's action fishing is what I'm doing there. But I feel like there's a middle ground that this game could have found, because I feel like the act of, like, at first they paint it as just, okay, hold the button to reel in. And I was like, well, this is definitely chill. I just press the button, catch fish. Like, that's what Beau always makes fun of these for being, and that's what it seems like it's going to be. But then they introduced that, like, oh no, it's going to pull it and break the line and stuff like that.
The good old pulling mechanic.
And it's like, well, you got to let go when it pulls. And again, I just don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. Like, when is it pulling versus not pulling?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't love playing it, but it's a very pretty game. And again, it's as advertised.
Yeah. It is very pretty, and it's not super expensive. And if it sounds chill to you, it is. It literally is chill. And I will give them big props again. John said it, I'll say it again. The visuals are very nice. Like, just very nice. Clearly work put into that part. It's just not very, you know, I don't know. How's it reviewing? I didn't look. Is it doing okay?
It's doing good. I mean, again, it's hard to accuse the fish and chill game of not being fishing and chilling when that's literally what it is. Like, it might not be for you, but yeah, it's got a very positive rating, but it's hard to give this, in my opinion, at least, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't want to be harsh on the game because it's like, no, it's exactly what they said it was. What am I going to say negative about it? This was too fishing and too chill for me.
Yeah, too much chilling, and too much fishing.
How dare they?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's good.
Give it credit for what it is. I like that. All right, well, that's what we played together. We got a quick email that's sort of along these lines. While we're on the subject, Mike D wrote in. I don't think this is the Mike D from what was the name of the rap group? Licensed to Ill. What's wrong with me?
Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys. This isn't that Mike D. Different Mike D. He says, regarding the Fallout 76 fishing mini game, how are we feeling about the Fallout 76 mini game for fishing that was announced? I know it's a favorite of Beau's. Anyway, just a little Beau poke there, a little something for you.
Yeah,
I'm sure Beau hasn't heard any pokes regarding the fact that the Steam sale is all.
I've been getting so many
games.
pings about the fishing event.
Yeah,
on Steam.
Everything on Steam that's about fishing has some kind of sale attached to it.
Yeah, they just know they're teasing me because obviously I think it's
They know what you want, man.
it's not for me.
It's not. This isn't going to work for you.
It's very not for me.
Well, there you go. There's that. Scott, what did he play? Well, I'll tell you what Scott played.
This is the Scott B. Johnson, ruiner of podcasts.
This is me. This is the guy with that weird effing glitch earlier. I got to figure it out. This is a new thing we're using, and I glitched out. Anyway, hey, I played and beat another video game. And you might go, Scott, what? Tsushima?
You finally played Claire Obscure.
Claire Obscure? Was it what's his name?
Tsushima is saved.
What possibly did you play and beat? Here, look, even he's interested. He heard me say it. Look.
Yeah, was it this game?
Was it this game by chance? And as it turns out, he's like, go off to the side there. It is not. It is 2017's Super Mario Odyssey, if you're curious. I started it last week and talked about it on the show. I got completely just like wrapped up in that amazing video game and played it all the way to completion and beyond. I got way more done this time than I did the first time I beat it, which was back in 2017. I didn't really go for like 100%ing anything that time. This time I'm considering it. I've done more than I used to already. I streamed the end of it, by the way, so that was pretty fun. I swore a lot. Some of these boss fights are no joke. They're hairy toward the end. I also forgot it kind of ends 3 times before it truly ends. And it also ends in such a great way because Peach just basically middle fingers you and Bowser and does her own thing. It's kind of great.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a bold stance for the game to take that like Peach is sick of everybody's crap.
And she's no longer like the helpless little, damsel in distress trope. She's kind of on her own now. Her and the female hat are like traveling the world, and you see her now when you go out and do stuff. But I forgot just how much stuff they dump on you after you beat the game. It rolls credits. You've beaten the whole thing. And then the game says, by the way, there's still many hours of content if you want it, including whole new zones and areas and new stuff to pick up and find and new stars and moons and all this stuff.
And hey, check out the castle from Super Mario 64.
Exactly. So I don't have a ton to add to that because we all know what this game is. It is old. It came out the year this first Switch came out, but it runs really well on Switch 2, and it just drug me in again, and I couldn't stop, and I loved every freaking second of it. I really think this playthrough has helped cement it for me. I think it is my favorite Mario game, and I love Galaxy 1 and 2, and I love 64 for what it was at the time. Massive fan of... the only one I really haven't played that everyone says I need to is the newer one with the elephant drug shit in it. What's that called?
Super Mario Elephant Drug.
Wonder, Super Mario Wonder. That's it. It's just so good. It's just such a high watermark, and that's partly why I'm so excited about Donkey Kong. Is it looks like they're just tearing a page out of this book and making a game a lot like it, with a lot of different mechanics and some interesting terrain deformation. But really, it's in that vein, and I would love some more in that vein. So that game is awesome. And yes, it's weird that I beat a game that old, but whatever, I did it. And then I got in the mood for old games. And also Donkey Kong got me in the mood for Guerrilla Re-Mars-tered. Sorry. And by Guerrilla, I mean Red Faction Guerrilla Re-Mars-tered.
I feel like you play Red Faction Guerrilla once a year.
I feel like you're right. I feel like you might be
I
right.
think once a year we hear about this game, and like, when did the Re-Mastered edition come out? Because that came out, and that was the year we heard about it, and then we heard about it again the year following. You're on like a yearly love
Seems
affair
like
with
6
this
years
game.
ago.
Let's take a look.
Like,
I can tell you.
IGN's review was 6 years ago.
2019. Yeah, 2019. And I pick it up all the time. Drop it, pick it up, drop it. It's just, I don't know what it is.
I think
about
it's
that
almost
game.
time for another remaster.
I need that
Is that
game.
going to be a thing?
That game needs to be. They need to make a proper follow up. Like the games that came after it were not as good. Red Faction Guerrilla is an all timer, and deservedly so. It's so good. Great open world combat, insane world building, really fun destruction mechanics. Everything blows up. It's great. And every time I play it, I just go, "Oh, this game's good." It's like I feel like games almost peaked with it. It's so good sometimes. I love it. So I go back all the time. I'm doing that again. So I just got way into it and played a bunch and got pretty far so far.
You Steam Deck it or PC?
Steam Deck in this case, so I can play. I have it on Switch, but I decided to play it on my Steam Deck. I play it on there, and then back and forth from PC works. It's great. So I'll play it that way. And it's not like the remastering here is minimal. There's some nice depth, bigger draw distances, some decent texture upresing. But it's, you look at it and still go, oh yeah, 360 game. Like, it's not gorgeous or anything. But it's so innovative in its mechanics for the time. I just freaking love it. And I would love them to return to this and do a proper modern game. Would just be so cool. So anyway, played a bunch of that.
We need more games where you blow up buildings. Like,
Agreed, dude. Agreed.
Still, one of the greatest like misreads in the history of all video game making was their sequel, where they're like, people love destroying things. What if we built a game around building things instead?
Yeah.
And everyone went, nope.
Nope.
You completely misread what we liked about your video game.
That's
no,
right.
thank you.
Yeah, they really got it wrong. And this game gets it so right. And in some ways you might say, well, it's a little one note, isn't it, Scott? Not really. There's lots of weird content. It's a good note, but it's also rescuing people. Some of the missions are get this truck back to headquarters. It's got some secret thing we need for our next weapon or whatever. And, you're fighting against the man. And it's just really a great game. I wish Volition was still around. They got canned by whatever fell apart at THQ and later Embracer Group. I don't know where this IP is right now. I don't know who owns it. Embracer put it out again, or THQ Nordic, I guess. So maybe they still have it. I don't know how that stuff works anymore, but
the footage you're showing is like one of my favorite missions too, because they give you the satchel bombs and then they want you to go detonate these big smokestacks.
Yep.
And there's just something so satisfying about sticking them to the base of it, and just exactly what just happened.
Yep.
Like,
just
you just
great.
blow up the base and then it just falls down, and you're getting in shootouts while all of it is happening. And like, this game just knew the assignment properly, and it executed on it so perfectly.
Agreed. It knew
Cool enough action, but enough places to just use destruction in creative ways.
Yeah, and it still feels really good. I would argue it still looks pretty good, and it runs at just like, highest frame rate you can imagine. So all that destruction is enhanced by that. Again, you'll still look at it and go, yeah, that's a 360 game, up-resed. That's fine. The gameplay rules. Anyway, I love that game. I'm probably going to play more. Let's see what else. That's what I played. Oh yeah, and Cast and Chill with John. John, what'd you get up to? I know you watched a lot of stinky butts this week.
Stinky butts. I played and finished Stellar Blade. I completed that game.
100% it?
Finishing games. No, not quite 100%, although I did get a lot of the achievements in it. And I'm here to tell you that would have been pretty high up on my Game of the Year list if I had played it last year. Still might make it, because I'll consider the PC release this year. This game was really good. Really, really good. And a big surprise. I think the biggest thing for me that I really liked is the combat in this. The one-on-one combat. One of the things, I don't know if it was in the PlayStation version, it's definitely here in the PC version, is a boss battle mode where you just go in and you pick the bosses, and you just get to fight them. And it's normally a mode that gets put in video games and I immediately ignore. It's almost essential in this because the boss fights are just so fun. Not because they're insanely big and bombastic, but because the fighting mechanics in this game are so solid that it's just fun to do boss fights. Like, this game struggles a lot when you're surrounded by multiple enemies because there's not a lot of like sweeping attacks and stuff like that. But when you're just on a one-on-one boss battle mode, it is just mechanically so satisfying because it's like, am I dodging? Am I parrying? Am I going to jump? Am I going to dash? They give you so many tools to use in combat that the encounters are just very frantic and fast, and while still feeling very tactical at the same time. And once you get good at it and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got this down, you just feel like a badass doing these big monster fights, and you're just pulling off amazing counters and dodges and all of that in them. So I actually found myself, after I beat this game, I went into New Game Plus, which also kudos to this game for having a New Game Plus that actually adds new content. When you go into New Game Plus, all the skills that you had maxed out previously get additional, not all of them, but some of them get new skills to unlock for New Game Plus. A lot of the items that you've unlocked now get a 3 times upgradable version in the New Game Plus, so you can go even further. Stuff that you were maxed out at in terms of upgrading, like I had the most powerful weapon that I could get. Once you do New Game Plus, it can get even more powerful. They unlock those upgrades, and you start getting new versions of items and outfits and all of that as you go through for the second time. So even on New Game Plus, there is stuff to unlock and to do. But mostly I was just running through New Game Plus because I just enjoyed the combat. I wasn't ready to step away from the game. I just was having that much fun running around and doing the fights and all of that. The story's a little on the weak side. It's got interesting ideas. I think it's kind of held back by one or two, in my opinion, not great voice acting choices. There's some characters that I think are important that are a little weak on how they sell themselves. But and the story gets a little muddled, but I think it's good enough to get you through it. And just some of the places you go, like, you start in a very rainy post-apocalyptic city. There's a lot of desert, which I didn't love. There's for somebody that was watching the Dune game because he didn't want to play in a desert, there is both a wasteland and a desert. So there's a lot of that, but it also it goes some crazy other places too. I don't know if people would consider it a spoiler or not, so I'll just leave it at that. Like, there's plenty of other biomes to explore, including some levels that really go above and beyond where you might expect that it would be. And yeah, it's just a really solid action game that I had a wonderful time with. It's got an awesome soundtrack as well, and I loved it. I would play more in a heartbeat if there's more to play, because I had that much fun with it.
You compared it favorably to the 2 Jedi games you just beat. Would you still say there's a similar vibe or a similar, I don't know?
Yeah, if for some reason someone who works on the Star Wars Jedi games is listening, play Stellar Blade and please do everything you can to copy their combat.
Wow.
Because the Jedi games are almost button for button the same as Stellar Blade's controls. I don't know why. It like literally double jump and dash are same buttons. Light attack in Jedi, it's a force attack. In this, it's a strong attack. But you can go from playing one to playing the other, and you are literally pressing the same buttons at different varieties. You use heavy attack in Stellar Blade way more than you use force attack in the Jedi games. The button that brings up your ping for like radar and sensing things around you would be the same button that you would pull up the map for in the Jedi games. So there's some variation there, but generally it's 1-to-1, and just the combat in this. In the Jedi games, the combat works well enough. In this, the combat is something I actually enjoyed. So I would say do everything you can to imitate this game's combat. It's so good.
Beau, does it drive you to want to pick up a butt lady and let her have her way with your screen, or what are you thinking?
That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's I've had my eye on it.
Yeah. On her
game.
butt.
And I don't know. I've got stuff to play right now, so it's not.
I don't know. It seems like the kind of game that I might
think about
even consider it when I get that itch for just like third person, like go ham.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I like the Jedi games, and if the combat's like it, I'm sure it would be fun. I keep hearing the soundtrack is stellar in it, and whatever. It looks cool, but
I would say for Scott, this is even less of a Souls-like game than the Jedi game.
Oh yeah, I played the
was
demo of
already a
this.
pretty big step out of it.
Yeah.
But this game, it can be difficult, but if you die, you just respawn at whatever the last camp you visited with was, and you keep everything you've had.
Yeah, I don't care if the fights are hard. I care about where I spawn and what I lose. That's it.
Yeah, so you do respawn at camp. It does respawn enemies, but it's not built in a way where it feels punishing, and usually there's a save. Like, coincidentally, there's always a save room right before the boss fight. So when you get to the boss fight, you are basically locked in on the boss fight until you
cool
finish
that
it if you want.
these places build their facilities like that.
Yeah. There's always a vending machine right next to a boss. Like, it's just the way it works.
I like games like that. That reminds me, what reminds me is, what's the game that we all like from Square that's the future-y one with the girl with the robot people? What's it called?
Near,
yeah, the Automata game. I get that vibe every time I watch gameplay.
This game definitely loved that game and is a love letter to that game, which makes it even neater that there's a collaboration. There is Near Automata, however you say it. I said it differently just to upset you. If that upset you, I did it to upset you.
Yeah.
There is a tie-in. So there is a item in a couple of the zones called Stellar Tears that you can collect. And there's this really obnoxious vendor that just cranks around the desert blaring music. And if you hit him, you can buy items from Nier in the game. So you can basically look like 2B in this game if you want. You can put her in the full ensemble.
That'll help my fan fiction I'm working on. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very, very similar to it. Where I would say that Nier's story is, very, very good and very, very strong. This doesn't quite hit those heights. But obviously, there's a lot of similarities and a lot of connections to it. And so this was a game heavily inspired by it.
Okay. Well, there you go. Stellar Blade, still stellar, says John.
Yeah, I'm shocked at how much I liked it. I thought I was going to enjoy it. I ended up really loving it.
And that's for you, that's an $80, almost a $90 game because you bought it on PlayStation and then bought it again.
Yeah, it's
PC.
another one of those. I bought it twice. Yeah, I got to learn my lesson. I was sure I was going to play it.
You didn't get in the doghouse for playing this game?
No, my wife came in and looked at it. She was like, she laughed at me a couple times, depending on what I would put on. But we would go through and look at all the outfits and rate them together. Yes. So there was a collaborative. There was a collaborative effort of, what do you think of this? And it was like, too much butt, side boob. I mean, there is a joke that basically whichever costume you pick for her is basically showing the world what your secret fetish is, because there's one outfit to check every box.
Yeah.
So whatever you pick really tells the world.
Limits where it's like you can play this game, but you can't play it with that outfit?
Well, you can if you go get mods, right?
She wasn't a huge fan of.
Oh, you mean the wife? Sorry.
So I'm just gonna tell you what it's called. It's just what it's called. It's called nude.
Sure.
And you get it by removing. Hold on, we'll get there. It's kind of what you think and then not what you think. So if you go into the outfit section and you can pick your different outfits, but you can unequip the one you're wearing. If you do that, you go to a skin tight outfit that is somewhat flesh colored. So sort of like what's that anime? that had that sort of thing.
You
know what I'm talking
the-
about,
Attack on
right?
Titan.
No, the
No,
old one, 90s.
the old one. Ghost in the Shell.
Ghost in the Shell. Jeez.
Kind of that sort of vibe. It's got a lot of those sci-fi lines. It doesn't have any like detail, but it's, you know, it's very flesh colored and very clear. My wife finds that unsettling. So it's not that it's too risque, but she was like, "Ooh, what's happening there? Ew." No, don't wear that.
Don't wear.
Also, she did not like. The game did a crossover with that. I can't remember what it's called. It has two crossovers, one with Nier and one with another game, and they put an outfit in it that is this like skin tight, overly neon pink outfit. And my wife didn't like that because she's like, that is gaudy and it hurts my eyes. So those were the two that she didn't like. But it wasn't like she came in and was like, how dare you? Don't wear this.
Did you do any mods or no? No mods or yes mods?
No, I'm afraid to look at the mods because I didn't look at the outfits and go, you know, this is missing something. I didn't really feel like anything was left to the imagination by the end of it.
I'm on it, Scott. I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah, let me know what you got in there.
I am sure that there are mods. I haven't looked at them. Honestly, I would tell you. I'm telling you, I played the game. I would tell you because I feel like I hear what you're saying. I hear you saying you don't believe me. I haven't looked at the mods. I haven't.
Yeah, no, I believe you. There's a lot of talk about the mods.
No, it wasn't you. There was a listener who said, I don't believe you. I'm just.
Oh, no, you can trust John. He's not a liar. I've never known John
to put adult mods on Nexus mods. I went to Nexus mods, but I thought
they do. But you need an account to see.
You got to log in.
I'll admit to that. Yeah. I know that.
Yeah, he knows that.
How I know.
Ask him how he knows.
This game, but maybe for other games.
Maybe for Super Mario Sunshine.
Ones in Skyrim, but I was probably
I wanted to see all of Flood.
Yeah.
I mean, Skyrim has like.
I want to play Mario Sunshine, but I want Flood to be his penis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
the Flood penis?
Now you kind of make me want to see that, but I don't.
Anyways, well, whatever they're showing publicly on Nexus mods is pretty tame.
Yeah, it's all pretty tame. You have to have the logins, I think, but yeah, I think that this is good news for Sony because they've had a rough go recently with some stuff, and this sold extremely well on PC. Just ellipsed their PS5 sales on it. I think is what I saw.
I heard this game is who we have to thank for the removal of region locking for all of the PlayStation games on PC. Apparently, they were the ones who lobbied for it.
Oh, no way. And they got it done.
Korean developers, isn't it?
It is. Those kimchi folks got it done. That sounds rude. I have 3 adopted Korean siblings. All right, everybody.
Right.
I ate kimchi this afternoon. At lunch, I had kimchi my sister-in-law made me. So I'm just telling you, it's fine. Everything's fine.
Scott lives in a very different environment in terms of what he's able to say without getting canceled by his family.
Oh, you'd be amazed. You'd be amazed what you can say around these guys. All right. Well, that's fantastic. John, well done. You beat another game this year. You did it.
I beat another game. In fact, actually, let's jump one ahead. So speaking of beating a game, I also beat another game. In fact, I 100%ed it. It was a game Scott recommended, and he knows that this didn't take a lot of effort. But damn it, I'm going to talk about it anyway. I played that game he talked about a while back called Spilled, which is a game where you drive a little boat around and you clean up oil in the water.
Yeah,
and you
I also beat this game.
Environmental cleanup.
And it's awesome. Sweet little game. It's great.
It took me less than an hour.
Yep.
And I did it as a palate cleanser. I just finished Stellar Blade. I wasn't ready to jump into anything. And I was like, I'll just play this game for a little bit as just, clean the palate, just get into it.
Yep.
But it wasn't even an hour long, which wasn't really long enough to clean the palate. And I was like, gosh, dang it.
Your palate is still all dirty, your palate.
Yeah. It's still unclean. So, but I loved it. Like it didn't need to be more than this. I'm kind of glad it was this. Like, it's just this quick little innocent clean up the ocean kind of game, put out fires, wash things, create snowballs on a hill for some reason. I never really understood why I was doing that mechanic.
That's a little bit weird.
I don't know if that was supposed to be like fighting global warming or something. I don't know why I was making snowballs on a hill, but beyond that, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It doesn't.
And again, it goes.
It doesn't overstay its welcome, which I appreciate for the kind of game it is.
Yeah,
It's like,
and that pretty pixel art. Like, it was what I was getting from Cast and Chill, but I had more fun playing the game.
yeah, this is more of a there's no doubt this is more of a game than that other thing. But yeah, it's fun. It's only $6. I still recommend this if people want to just get a quick hour of, you'll spend more in an arcade for that. So think of it that way. Just a bunch of quarters,
Yeah, it was good.
$6 worth of quarters. 6 times 4, whatever that is.
Well, who knows? It's math that we can't figure out. But one day, if we use the power of AI for good, one day we can ask these questions of the world.
We'll get there.
Anyway, last thing is not a video game, but I wanted to let everybody know that I'm going to be earning my final nerd badge because I have ordered and is on its way to me at some point in the near future here. My first Magic the Gathering cards that I'm getting
Ever?
for the Final Fantasy. Yeah, I know. Let me tell you what I know about Magic the Gathering.
Go.
It's a card game.
Yep.
That's everything I know. Now, I suspect, because I've heard other people talk about it, that there is something to do with colors in terms of building your deck. Like, you can build a deck around a color. I don't know what the colors are, and I don't know what they mean, but that's something that I think I know. That is all of my knowledge.
You know how to play. You don't know what land cards are? I even know that.
I don't know that that's a thing.
Okay.
I know more about Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
It doesn't surprise me.
Because I can say Blue Eyes White Dragon, and because I've seen clips of an anime show, I know more about Yu-Gi-Oh than I do Magic the Gathering. And so this is me getting into it. When they arrive, maybe I will be the, Beau said last week he watched somebody who knew nothing about Final Fantasy reviewing the cards, but they were a big Magic fan. Maybe I'll do the video that's the opposite. Somebody who knows nothing about Magic the Gathering, but I'm looking at it purely as a Final Fantasy fan.
Are they still on the way? You haven't opened them yet?
Yeah, they're still on the way. So far, the only thing I got. So I got these. Let's see if I can hold them up here.
See what you got.
Card sleeves, right?
So yeah, these are card sleeves in case I get something that I feel like needs protecting, with Cloud on the back holding this sword.
So actually, the way the sleeves work is like you'll have, how much is it, 60 you got or 100?
I don't know. It's 2 of these. I don't know how much that is.
Okay,
it's that many.
It makes the cards much easier to shuffle, especially if you're like talking 100 card deck. And they protect the cards. Like it's nicer to play with them in sleeves. It's a whole thing. Like you gotta sleeve your deck.
Okay.
So this is,
and some of the cards are double-sided. So if you have double-sided cards in a deck, you're shuffling face down so you can't see them. Well, obviously you'll see the double-sided. So pretty much sleeves are actually required.
So it's good that I got these.
Yes. Because
good.
Like there's cards that will transform, particularly Final Fantasy 16, because everyone transforms into their summon, I take it.
Yeah.
So if Clive comes out and he's just Clive and he's like, "Hey, I'm Clive, how's it going?" And then you're like, "I want to transform into
typical
my
Clive."
anima.
Yeah.
And then so you got to like do a thing to get him to flip, and it's the other side. So you can't actually play it. You wouldn't be allowed to. They'd force you to sleeve your cards.
Okay, so I'm not supposed to just put rare cards in this. I'm supposed to put all my cards in this.
All cards, including land cards.
Well, shit, I'm going to need a lot more of these. This is not enough.
You don't have to sleeve them if you're just holding them in a box. It's only if you're going to build a deck. So you might, if you're going to actually play with another person and build 2 decks, you're going to need 2 sleeves with different drawings on the back to make the 2 decks.
There's another really important thing you need to know, John. All right. Now I know these are Final Fantasy cards, but if for some reason in that deck this is in there,
you said you get
if this is in there,
for some reason I get a card called Black Lotus.
If Black Lotus shows up in your deck, you need to immediately put that in an envelope, address it to me, and then send it in the mail to me, and then I'll take care of the rest. You won't have to worry about it or think about it. It'll all be done.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Just letting you know.
So I have. You should get. Did you order something like this, like a beginner box?
So I'll tell you what I ordered, and people can tell me if I did wrong and if I need to get something else.
Okay, go.
But again, I know nothing about it, so I'm getting a a play booster box.
Yeah, that's what they all say. Okay.
Yeah.
Got like 36 packs in it.
Yeah, I think something like that. Yeah.
All right, that's just Final Fantasy cards. Okay, that's fine.
Well, that's what I wanted, right? I wanted
Yep.
cards.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. I got a Final Fantasy starter kit. It
Okay.
had Cloud and Sephiroth on the front, so I thought that's
It's like a
important.
dual deck. It has 2 decks in it, kind of thing.
Okay. And
I
then I
think so,
got
yeah.
a commander deck with Terra, Herald of Hope on it.
Okay, so the starter, just bear with me, okay? That starter kit contains 2 60-card constructed decks.
Okay.
Constructed literally means what it sounds like. You've taken your cards and built a deck with it.
Okay.
So that's good.
So they are
Starter
set
kit-
cards, so everybody
starter kit
knows
will
what I'm
teach
getting
you-
with those. Okay.
Mm.
The starter kit should teach you how to play the game and give
Great.
you 2 decks with which to experiment around with. You'll want another set of sleeves for them, unless you'll just want sleeves. The game's just way better to play with sleeves. But if you don't, especially if you're collecting them like they're Final Fantasy, you don't want them to get all like shuffled and scratched and stuff. It's terrible.
Yeah.
So I recommend you'll need 2 60-card sleeves for that's constructed. That's standard. Standard is any cards printed in the last 3 years. That commander deck is something a little different. So commander is 100 cards, only maximum 1 copy of each card. One of them is your commander. You can look
Okay.
up the rules for it later, but it's a different format where people play 100 card decks minimum. And that developed usually when you're playing that standard format, you're putting the best cards in there. And when you really get into the hobby, those decks can cost you like $600. Like,
Jeez.
because you're trying to make like the best, or more. Like you're putting chase rares in, or potentially into like that, particularly like dual colored lands and stuff. It gets very expensive. So during off times for like fun and for a game that doesn't require tons of money, you take all your extra cards you're not using and play commander with it, and it's a casual format that's more fun, because
Okay.
that's why it's a limit of 1 copy, because you're going into like your collection and you taking all those cards you never use in standard because they suck ass. But you know what? I'm going to make a fun as hell mill deck or whatever. I'm just going to make a fun deck with all the cards, like a soup. A soup is just like you cut up a bunch of extra shit that you didn't use and put in a pot, boil it, and you got a soup.
Yeah.
That's like what commander is, just broadly speaking. And it's gained such popularity that Wizards also now just sells commander decks, and it's a whole thing, and it's great. So it's good that you got one, but you're going to need a second one if you want to play commander versus someone, or build one, which you're going to have. You probably just build one because you have a whole pile of boosters that you're going to be able to open. You're going to have a huge mountain of cards. So
Now,
you'll just build a second one.
The only other thing that I saw that I didn't know what it was, I didn't know if I should get it, is they have a thing that's just the Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy bundle.
Okay. You didn't get that, or did?
I didn't get that. I don't know if I should have. Now it says that it contains 9 play boosters, which I'm getting a bunch of play boosters, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So they used to call them fat packs, I believe. And basically they were just like a middle point between buying a whole box and then just buying a single booster. That's pretty much.
All right.
You didn't get that, right?
I didn't get that.
Yeah, I'm just looking up the product list now. So you got a commander deck. You got the starter kit was a good thing. Usually also it comes with a box, so you're gonna want a storage box to put your cards in. You'll probably just put them in your booster box, and it's just fine. Are you like, this is like golf, all right? So there's this on ramp for Magic where it's like I just bought some cards and they're cool, and I just schlepp them somewhere and whatever. And then there's well, I've got my cart and my pass and my caddy and my, thing. Like, there's a lot of paraphernalia to doing it right with paper. Even me, I'm just like thinking about the things to buy. Like, I bought sleeves too, and I'm like, I'm not even playing with anybody. What the fuck do I care about having sleeves? And it's just like, so I'm going to tell you these things, but don't feel like you have to buy them, because it's
Okay.
You're going deeper and deeper into.
This was just supposed to
money
be a nice
spending.
little Father's Day
Yeah.
thing for myself.
Yeah.
So
So,
suddenly I'm in a hole.
so anyways,
You totally
you
are,
got
dude.
plenty. You got plenty of gas when it comes to the boosters.
Okay.
Do you know people who would play Magic with you, like Ben or someone like
No,
that?
I don't.
Because there's another mode, the third mode, that's key. Which you can feel free to forget this, but there's a mode where you just take the packs and open them and draft cards and pass them around. Anyways, but I don't
Okay.
think you're just gonna open them because it's fun. That's cool.
Yeah.
You should make a stream of it for sure.
If you're doing
All right. Yeah. Well, yeah, because if I make a stream of it, I can write it off on
It's
the
just
text.
That's
sometimes when you
Sometimes I only do
Just
that
a-
if I film it.
yeah.
like when you buy a box of boosters and you have friends to play Magic with, sometimes you're like, well, I'm not going to open them because we're going to use them to play draft, and then they'll be opened, and then I'll use them for standard for constructed stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyways, all right, that's all you need to know more. I can't wait to find out what you opened. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be
I
buying
don't know when it's gonna come. It's one of those things where like the prices I was getting quoted by my local stores and they didn't have them were the same as what Amazon had, but they also couldn't tell me exactly when I'd get it. So I just ordered it from Amazon.
Now, I have a lot of Magic cards on Arena. I have been playing draft quite a bit and get to keep the cards, but it's not paper. So it's in my digital locker.
Your digital, your safe space. By the way, if you did have a Black Lotus card and it was even banged up and shitty, those even at the lowest end are going for $17,060. On the high
Holy
end,
shit.
on the pristine end, if you've taken really good care of it, $3 million. So I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
I'd
this
be
is like-
crazy
that's
not to buy this deck that doesn't
That's
have
like-
any chance of having that card in it.
you cannot open those cards anymore. That's like Spider-Man #1. It's like Spider-Man #1 is worth how much? It's like, yeah, but they don't print those anymore. You know, like it's
Yeah, you have a gold
35-year-old
mine.
card that nobody prints, so don't worry about it.
Yeah,
You won't
you're
get
never going to see one. But
the biggest thing, no, actually, you need to know this. The most crazy rare valuable, they printed 77 traveling chocobos, a limited run. So it'll say a number like 3 of 77. You won't
Yeah.
miss it. It'll be all gold. Those have been selling for 20 to 50,000. There's only
John,
77 in the whole
That
world.
would pay for what I spent.
Yeah,
a lot
for sure.
and a lot more on top of it.
But there's a few. I don't know if you were paying attention to the core Discord. I listed the top 10. You might want to check the top 10 most moneyed cards. There's a character called Vivi Orniete from Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, Vivi.
So she's the most, I think, valuable card because she's very good and constructed. So she's
Such a
chaser for
stupid
people
name.
building deck.
Are these
What,
worth
Vivi?
So Vivi
yeah,
for short
you think
is
it'd be
fine.
Cloud or
but
Clive, but Vivi is the most valuable.
Vivi is
card.
a precious little black mage that
Give-
just wants to live.
I
give me the
think-
rest.
I
Give me
don't
her
know.
full name again, John.
It's a he.
Give me
It's a
his
he.
full
Vivi.
name.
Vivi Ornitier.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Ornitier. Like
And you know
Yeah,
French,
no.
and it's shitty. It's terrible. It's bad names.
uh-oh.
Welcome to
Yeah,
Final Fantasy.
That's not a real French last name. It's just Thiers is.
Even
Everybody
worse.
just calls him Vivi in Final Fantasy 9.
Look, that's the card. We're going for a lot right now. It's very powerful.
What's the lady? What's the lady in 14? Von Jalvan or whatever her name is. What is it?
Jean Valjean.
No.
Yishtola.
No, I like Yishtola. I hate her name, but what's the lady in charge of the pirates? What's her name? The pirate
Oh,
faction.
Merle Webb.
Merle Webb. Go look at that up,
Yeah.
everybody, and try to spell that. It's terrible. It's all terrible. They're
Autocomplete did it for me, so I can spell it super easy.
Yeah.
just
You
like,
don't need
I
in this
just,
age.
I just like giving people shit about Final
I
Fantasy
don't
games.
think there's a Merle Webb card actually. in
What?
Final
That's
Fantasy.
money on the table.
Is that true? I thought there
don't
was.
think.
I thought I saw a
Oh, well,
thing.
they're covering. So the set covering all 16. I think she's featured in art for like a Realm Reborn,
Yeah.
but she doesn't actually.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
Okay.
But I'm just saying,
that's reasonable.
Merle Webb Blofiswin
Ugh,
would be a wonderful character to have.
it's so bad.
Blofiswin. Yeah, the names really are something else in that.
They're terrible. What the word
We
you're looking
live
for
in
is
a world
bad.
where not everybody's name is as elaborate as Scott Johnson. I'm sorry.
But no, you know what's really funny about the set is that you'll have characters with like unpronounceable names, and then you go to the Final Fantasy 16 cards, and everyone's Joshua,
Yeah.
Yep.
Clyde, and
Joshua.
Jill. Everyone's like got the. It's like, what is this set? It's like they got the craziest names and then the most like pedestrian names you've ever seen.
Yeah.
I was super curious what they were going to do for Final Fantasy V because that game has a notoriously mistranslated protagonist name. Originally, it was translated as the main character's name was Butts.
Dirty butts.
Okay.
And they fixed it since, and he's now known as Bartz. But originally he was called, so Bartz and Boko is the name of the card, but I was curious if there was going to be a Butts and Boko.
Oh, that'd be awesome. But yeah, I didn't see such a thing.
Good Lord.
There's also an X-Death, Void Warlock.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
X-Death is business, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, you're gonna love the set. The cards are fantastic, and I can't wait to hear about the big money things you open. But if you see a Vivi, that's the most valuable card. Although there's extended arts and like alternate arts that they do for some of the cards. If you get some of those might be quite valuable as well, even if
Okay.
they're not chase rares, just because it's Final Fantasy and people want to collect the rare shit right now.
Is there like zero chance of me getting anything rare because I waited too long? Like, is all the rare stuff in the first wave?
The traveling chocobos from the MTG Finance subreddit. I was on there.
MTG Finance. That's crazy.
r/MTVG Finance, dude. The collector boosters; those are boosters with like guaranteed like extended arts and rares in them. And they only have, you bought something with 36 boosters in it, or maybe 30.
Yeah.
This only has, I think, 12 or I don't remember how many. It has a lot less, but they're guaranteed to have really good shit in them, and they sell them for a premium. Do you want to know how much they're going for right now?
How much?
$1,200.
Yeah, that's great.
You could buy 2 PS5s with change, or you can get 10 packs of cards or 12 packs of cards.
Yeah, what do you think of that, John?
I think I've made a mistake with my Father's Day choice.
You didn't buy the collector booster box. You bought a regular
No, I
booster
didn't. I
box.
bought a regular. It was called a Play booster box.
Yeah, that's fine.
It was
still
expensive, but it was not.
You're
that
still going to get
expensive.
stuff, and that's probably. I don't want to ask you how much you paid for it, but that was probably overpriced compared to previous booster boxes. Usually, it's $150 to $200 if memory serves.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but I think a booster box is probably going for more than that for Final Fantasy.
Well, the good news is that's roughly what I paid for it.
Yeah. Okay. You might have gotten an okay. You might have paid an okay.
Well, like
price.
I said, I was
But the
what I was
collector
seeing
boosters
from other
are-
places is what I was paying on Amazon. So I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it.
even on Arena, so they have these events where you can win paper product, usually a collector booster box. What I've seen is they're 5,000 space points, which roughly equates to like $50 maybe or something like that, maybe less, which is very expensive. The Final Fantasy one is 8,000.
Hey!
Jeez.
It's almost like I think maybe about $60, $70 something. I don't know. It's a lot
They just
more.
know
Who
that
knows
we're
what space points?
crazy, I think is the problem.
I think
So
the
Final Fantasy was the best selling thing Wizards ever did with Magic the Gathering before it was released in pre-sales alone.
so more than the Lord of the Rings, all that stuff, and this beats all that.
More than anything they have ever released, sets and or otherwise.
Good Lord, man.
See, this is the power of a brand name, everybody.
Yeah.
Like when we
Yeah.
talk about don't diminish your brand name, don't run it into the mud. It has value. This is what we're talking about.
That's right. Listen to us here at Core Finance.
And like here, like I'm playing Final Fantasy 2 on Arena, and yeah, I popped some money in there to give myself a floating balance. Although you can win your money back, so far I've only ground down about 300 gems, which isn't bad. But they're going to make a ton of money off Arena 2, and I'm drafting it, and the set is fun to play. It's not just like it's Final Fantasy. It's like they actually, for just Magic players who don't give a shit about Final Fantasy, they like having new content because it keeps those limited's a popular format, keeps it fresh to have a new set of cards to figure out the puzzles with, and people really like it. So it's got a good limited format, which means it's guaranteed to sell packs, and it's it's just a, unlike their D&D side of things, which is going abysmally. They're kind of pumping on all cylinders, and there's tons of complaining about the price, but people are still paying it anyways. It's like the Switch 2. I don't think I'm going to get one next day. I bought one.
Yeah.
I bought it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So yeah. Anyways, congratulations, man. I think the cards are cool, and I wish I'd get my hands on some, but I spent my money on something a little different. I'll talk about it later.
Oh, interesting.
All right.
Well,
That was what
speaking
I
of which,
played this week.
Yeah, let's get right to it,
Still
Beau.
cards. Technically still cards. Okay, for me.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta save it for last. Or we can just talk about it now. Whatever.
Whatever you rather
do.
do. However you want to do it.
You guys are gonna recognize this. So I went to the nerd store like several months back, and I saw this on the shelf, and I haven't stopped thinking about it. It's a board game, but I'm out on board games just because of the cognitive load. Oh, it's Angel time. Sorry. I'm out on for audio listeners. The sun's shining through my blind at this time.
Yeah, it's usually really glorious. We play Halo music when we can see it, but we're not today.
I'm really out on board games because you spend like I think they're cool and they look great and everything, but you spend like a lot of time setting it up and learning the rules, and you bring it with your friends and you have an okay time, and then they never want to play it again, and you're out $200 and a bunch of time, and it's just some of these games are just there's just so much going on, and it's not relaxing.
Yeah.
So I just really got out of the board game thing. I think they're great, but whatever. But this one appealed to me because I think, the cognitive load on this is going to be really low, and it's beautiful, and it's a game I've already played, just a like a board game translation, and so I got super stoked. So yesterday I went out and bought it because I'm like, F it, I want it. It's $150 for this thing.
Jeez.
So rather than buy Final Fantasy cards that I can't use, I bought myself this. And drum roll.
Yeah, hold it up. Let's see what we got. Slay the Spire.
Spire, the board game.
I've heard good things about this. I've heard great things.
Yes, I've heard nothing but good things. The box is beautiful, and I gotta say, I know we've commented a lot about the art with this game. It really pops on the board. Actually, it's very colorful. All the materials are nice, and they look like identical to the game. And the game is literally Slay the Spire, but multiplayer. So the deal is you play with other people, and if one person dies, the whole run is over, and you got to start over. But
it's co-op?
It has it's co-op. So you can play up to 4 players. You can also play solo by yourself if you want.
Yeah.
But I just feel like I'd play the video game. But you can play solo.
Yeah.
And it has 13 ascension levels of difficulty, even just like, the game. And I'm stoked. And guess what? This board game, this card game, comes with sleeves, just like.
Oh man, look at that!
And I've never seen a board game come with sleeves, and the reason why the sleeves are there is because in Slay the Spire you can upgrade any card. So to upgrade, you take the card out, flip it, and put it back in the sleeve, just like in the game, because there's only one upgrade stage. It's awesome.
That is cool.
The materials are fantastic. I cannot wait to play it. So yeah, Slay the Spire, the board game, and I think it just came out like a year ago.
It's pretty new. Dan, the board game geek, Dan Patrice. You guys know Dan. You shared a room with him.
My roommate at BlizzCon.
That's right.
You saw my buttlet.
Yeah, he saw your buttlet.
And he was my roommate at
Nerdtacular. Exactly.
He was my twice roommate.
Yeah, he loves this version of that game. He thinks it's amazing. So
I've heard nothing but good things, and I am so stoked. I can't wait to play. So
who are you going to play with? Who are you going to co-op with?
Mike and Crofton. I told them I bought a game. Pick a date, bitches, and that's all I said.
You should just do Mike, because Crofton will F it up. He'll just F it up.
Crofton's part of the deal. We can't leave him out.
All right. It's like the weird cousin.
Pete went and moved to Toronto, so he won't be able to join us. So I don't know who we're going to get for 4th. Maybe it'll just be 3. But
all right. Well, good luck on that. That sounds like
I'm
fun.
I'm play it, and I will tell you, report back.
Yeah, hook that up to OBS. Stream the whole thing. Just kidding. All right, what else you got?
Well, speaking of board games, I also played fully now with other people, Sunderfolk.
Oh,
the full couch multiplayer experience.
Yeah.
So I finally was able to do that. I talked Mike and Crofton into giving it a try. We went to Mike's house. He connected his laptop to his TV. It had Windows on it, and I loaded up Steam.
Yeah.
And just as a connection to our conversation.
Yeah.
And we put it on the TV, and I logged into my Steam account and ran the game. And they loved it because they downloaded the app and no login. They don't have to put a username and password. You just scan the QR code on the screen, boom, You're in the lobby. That's how you join. The only thing is Crofton had to charge his phone. I told him to charge his phone before coming, and he didn't. I
Oh,
brought my charger, and he had to mooch charger. He didn't bring his charger.
so again, I'm just the Crofton's sometimes a hindrance is all I'm saying. He's a bit of a pain.
It's a lot of it gives us a lot of grief.
Your dedication
And
to your friendship, though, is admirable. I like that.
So we played it together, and I'm never sure how to take how different people are going to react to it, but everyone liked it. And Mike's young lad came in and had to go to bed because he was out, watching a rodeo or something like that with his aunt, and he had to go to bed. And he didn't want to go to bed because he said it looked really cool, and I was like, sweet. So they were talking. By the time we ended our session, I played farther than I had played, and we'd gotten equipment and did other missions. They were talking like, I wonder if I could buy this. Is it on Switch? Can I get it? I think I want to play with my kid. Both of them want to play with their children and their family. It's just simple enough that it's RPG mechanics, but it's like really, they've done a really fantastic job of making it just like ease of use. Like everything is so easy about setting it up, logging in, plugging it in, explaining to people was not complicated. And, it's not like, oh, you have to join a lobby, then you have to put this in and do it. No, I just scan the QR code and type your name in, click ready, and it's good to go. So, yeah.
Big ups on
Phenomenal. Big positive feedback on Sunderfolk was a lot of fun. For Mike and Crofton and the people who are watching.
I hope that's going well for them. It's such a hard game to market.
Yeah, I know.
Like the Jackbox games, people have been doing it for 100 years, so they kind of have a built-in hype machine. But for a game like this, from ex-Blizzard people who are not Blizzard, because if it was Blizzard, everybody would be talking about this. But yeah, it's just harder to market. I hope they do well with it because it seems pretty neat. I need to play it.
Me too. But they've even if they didn't sell it, it's launched it feels fully featured and finished. This is an early access thing, and it's all crappy. It's just it works really nice out the box, and it's just innovative. That's the word for it. Just there's innovative stuff going on here.
It's really cool,
and you don't see that every day in the game. It's really good.
Very nice.
Yeah, so that's Sunderfolk. Now for not real video game, but standard video game. That's what I meant to say.
Sure.
I am still fully hooked on Elden Ring Nightreign. They stealth added hard mode, ever dark bosses. I didn't even know it was out. I just logged in to play and I saw, oh shit, the first boss dropped. And it seems like they're going to be doing a new boss a week and rotating them out, and then we don't know what's happening after. Although that's what people are guessing. They haven't actually announced what they're doing because it's FromSoft and they don't explain shit, including learning this week, for example, on a character I like to play, the Duchess.
Yeah.
She has a S in intelligence and an A in dexterity, her two top sort of stats for scaling. I know John will understand that maybe a little more than Scott. But someone did some data mining and looked at the numbers on it, and the numbers are basically the same. So it doesn't matter. Go with a dex weapon, use magic. There's no difference in spite of the game telling you there's a difference. So great job, FromSoft. And it's super clear. Sometimes it's so fun that they have mysteries, and sometimes you're like, this shouldn't be a mystery.
Yeah, shouldn't be so.
This needs to be explained better, and there's so much of that going on with their relic system. Anyways, I have some footage there if you want to see. So the new bosses, it's not just that they have a deeper health pool or that there's more effort, but I really wanted to show off how cracked out the boss is. So this is me. I know audio listeners, it's tough, so I'll try to describe it a little bit, but this is me playing the Duchess, which is a rogue-like character who can either use magic or blades, loves to dodge. She's called the Bloodborne character, so maybe her dodge is like Bloodborne. And he's about to go in. What they did was add a new phase. So he's already harder. His baseline is just his animations are tighter. He's less vulnerable to his weakness. And he has a whole new thing he does. And it was just so damn epic. Basically, what's going to happen here is my two teammates are down. It's only me up. I'm going to go invisible and try and res one. Then he's going to launch a Nova, from a lightning Nova that you have to run away from. And my teammate's going to try and res the third player. instead of running out of it, and she's going to die, and I'm going to be solo again. After that nova goes off, he goes nuts and shoots down another laser nova, which conjures a tornado. And when the tornado comes down, jump streams come up, and you got to jump into the eye of the storm where it's safe. And it's just, when I'm playing it, this game looks so cinematic with this new boss thing. So I'm like alone in the tornado with this T-Rex, basically dragon, and I am dodging shit like my life depended on it. And I've done maybe 20 attempts on this boss with pugs, and I've only cleared it twice on the bow and arrow guy, and I'm still not bored. I'm still like, man, I got a mountain to climb. I want to beat it with the Duchess. It's so much fun.
Visually, this has got the kind of fight that Final Fantasy 16 was very much like this.
So
yeah, I was actually thinking this looks like an actionier version of Raid in Final Fantasy 14, but yeah.
I mean, it is like Raid. Like some people were complaining, "Oh, this has Raid mechanics. It's like we have to learn things." I'm like, "Well, come on, man.
Yeah.
What? Come on, guys. You know." But it's epic. Like I'm and a new one of these bosses every week to look forward to for the next 8 weeks. I'm like, oh, sick. You know. And there's new rewards associated with it. So yeah, I'm having a ton of fun with this game.
They've grabbed you by the doodle and they haven't let go.
I'm going to be kind of maining this game, I think, for the next little while. If the cadence of content is fairly regular, like a new boss is like enough for me. It's fun.
Yeah.
So between that and Magic drafting, it's just like,
that's more fun.
I need to fit some other games in, but it's taking up so much of my time.
This is more boss content than MMOs know how to put in. This is great. Very cool.
It really feels like it's only 3 players, but imagine if WoW was like, instead of having a tank and targeting, it was just like this psycho stuff.
Yeah.
like he's about to go psycho again. It's just hard. Like I've played it 20 times, only cleared it twice. Like that's maybe not 20, maybe 15, but like a lot.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun. But imagine a raid being a roguelike where you get to the last boss of a raid and you wipe and you have to start all over the raid again.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I want that.
No, I think nobody wants that. I think everyone who understands that, hearing that, just like their heart sank.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, cool. I'm glad you're still loving it, though. It's great.
I just loving it, and I know John's trying to keep away from playing it, but I figure the more weeks goes by where I'm like, this game's amazing, he's gonna be like, I'm gonna try.
Just
break
You might cave. Yeah, you may cave. You never know.
And I'll be like, someone who will play with you.
Yeah.
I almost didn't record the show today because Kyle messaged me before the show. I'm like, me and Garrett are getting on. I was like, oh man, I gotta do core today.
You tell those rat bastards they don't get to pull you away from your show. They need a better playtime.
I didn't say that. I told them, no, I'm busy today. But I was like, they don't play much, and I don't. They're the only 2 who play with me. So if they're like, hey, we're gonna play, I'm gonna do my best to be there and get that Nightreign time in.
Get that sweet Nightreign jolt
with friends. Yeah,
nice. What else you get
Great
up to?
game. Magic. I've been drafting Magic Gathering, but we talked about that. So I have nothing new to add to the conversation.
That's cool though. I'm glad you guys are.
I'm really enjoying Arena, and I'm really enjoying Nightreign, and I bought a board game.
Nice.
And I'm going to be playing some Slay the Spear.
A little bit of digital, a little bit of non-digital. I think this is good. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Let's get to some correspondence. You guys have been sending in your questions and your thoughts and your comments, and we're going to read them.
That's a good question.
I'm going to start with this one. This is a short one. Christina asks, I commonly hear on the podcast that John, Scott, and Beau often live stream games they play. What platforms do you all stream on, and how do I find them to follow/watch? Thanks in advance. So, we have these. I think I have these all listed on the website. If I don't, I'm going to rectify that. But
what's the website address?
The website is frogpants.com/core. And I think they're there. If they're not there, I'll make sure they are from now on, because I may have changed. But anyway, here's all you got to do to follow Beau. Beau, where are you playing on Twitch?
twitch.tv/Beau Schwartz.
Nice. And then that stuff ends up on your YouTube channel as well in the form of archives. Are you doing that still or no?
I haven't been posting it there because I've been streaming stuff right now. Ow.
You all right?
Sorry. I went to my Twitch page to confirm the URL, and I have an advertisement where John's saying things, and he's like, "Get ready to watch Gorath." Gorath.
You just stream that in your ear?
It's just really loud. I think the way I used a limiter to like really crank John's voice, so whenever I go to my site to watch that, it comes in pretty loud.
It sounded like you dropped a stapler on your crotch or something. I was worried about you.
It was loud.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's twitch.tv/Beau Schwartz. You probably do Beau Schwartz on YouTube and find my YouTube channel. I'm trying to figure out what content I want to put on there. I'm not multi-streaming anymore because it's always only one viewer or two viewers, and it's just having to keep up with two chats and do troubleshooting when Restream doesn't work right and it also cost me extra money. Wasn't worth it.
If you ever need I know how to do that for free now, and also super easy and simple. So if you ever want to know how I'm doing that, I'll let you know.
Oh yeah, no, I'm curious about that. Now, I was thinking I might post a Nightreign video. I will do my bonus show episode first. By the way, John's posted a bonus show for
it's really good.
Patreon listeners this week.
Right.
All about Clair Obscur. If you enjoyed that.
Do you want to hear a man who loves Clair Obscur Expedition 33? I highly recommend that.
You can hear me talk about it for 2 hours. And I will just say, because I saw this question in chat, John, I'm on Act 2. Can I listen to your bonus show? Yes, you can. So basically what I did is I went in chronological order of story for what I talked about. So I start, kind of generic and then work my way through each of the acts up to the end. So if you're in Act 2, listen to me talk about the prologue in Act 1 and then check out when I say I'm going on to Act 2 and you won't get spoiled on anything.
There you go.
So,
yep.
It might be the kind of thing, too, that you saved from when you're done if you want to watch the whole thing. But it sounds like John's got it firmly in hand. So
did a really good job. So be a patron to get that stuff. But anyway, so that's Beau.
Yeah.
And then John, where do people go when you stream things live? I know it's been a while, but
it has been a while. I mentioned earlier that I'm going to try and do a video around opening these Magic card packs and stuff like that. I want to get back to it. I took a break because I started having some technical issues, and then it was the move, and then technical issues, and then there was a new computer, and there's always been an excuse not to do it. I ended up getting a little bit in my head about streaming and just like overthinking it. And I want to get back to it. So when that happens, and I'm hoping it will start next week, Craftless Rogue, that's CRAFTLESS Rogue, ROGUE, on Twitch and on YouTube. It will probably be streamed to Twitch. Like, I'm very established in Twitch. That's where most people will watch and follow me. I like YouTube better. But like Beau, the benefits of jumping platforms isn't there yet for me. Because I was streaming on Twitch for so long. So my personal preference is YouTube, but most people follow me on Twitch. So I will probably be on Twitch, or maybe I'll do what Beau did and find a way to do both, especially if Scott's got some tips.
Definitely got a tip for you. I'm super easy too. Just stupid easy.
I would rather be on YouTube personally. I like YouTube more than I like Twitch. That's where I'll be. That's where I'll be doing it, and I hope to get back to it next week. But yeah, there hasn't been any content for a while because I just haven't been doing it.
Sure.
We'll see what comes next week.
On my end, if I'm streaming games or I'm doing shows like this one, you can find them I made it real easy. Just go to frogpants.tv. That'll take you to the YouTube channel, which is just /Scott Johnson anyway. So that's just as easy to find. But on Twitch, it's Frogpants. And we are simultaneously streaming this there as well. So either one, doesn't matter where you go, you can find it there. And I have been streaming games more lately. It's usually, there's no like regular schedule. It's just like, I'm in the mood to play this stupid Mario game again. May as well stream it, And so that's when it kicks off for me. So check that out. Hopefully that answers your question. Christina, we got a call from Brad. This is for Beau. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hey, core guys. Shit. Is Beau actually going to write his Star Wars fan fiction? I want to read it.
He wants to read your Star Wars film fiction. I think he meant fan
fiction.
fiction.
Wants to read
K2SO.
K2SO Unleashed.
K2SO, yeah. What are you gonna do? What's the plan?
No, I'm not writing it. That's like bathroom or shower ideas, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to.
No, you're just scrubbing yourself in the shower, and you're like, "Damn, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
Like this could happen, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this."
Yeah.
I definitely think about K2SO in the bathroom.
Yeah, always on the shitter usually, but you know.
Shitter. It's a crude way to call.
Oh, I love the term the shitter.
I'm on the shitter.
Yep.
It's a verb for shitting.
Love it.
And a different kind of verb.
Well,
yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah. I guess John in the pre-show put it in my head that I could potentially be friends with Jon Favreau. His name's Jon Favreau.
Favreau, yeah.
Favreau.
I bet getting to know his name better will ingratiate.
Because he said I was like Happy Hogan, and I feel like Happy Hogan is just John being. It's just him being him in the movie to be in the movie. I don't think Jon Favreau went home and be like, I got to figure out what Happy Hogan's like.
You think he's just a self-insert?
It's just a self. It always struck me as a self-insert. You know, kind of.
John, you could or Beau, you could do the Star Wars TRPG system and you could do an entire campaign one-off with your TSO or what is it? TB.
Oh, we could do it like
K2SO.
K2SO. Sorry.
Yeah, but then like someone would have to play it, and I'd be like, "You're not playing him right. He would do this."
Oh, true.
Like I think there's a more authorial. What do you say? Like author?
Arthurian legend.
No, no. I mean, like there's a more of an author. I'd be more of an auteur of that particular story for it to work.
Oh, I see I know what you mean. I don't know what the word is, but yeah, I know what you're getting at.
Like a quality of having authorship.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe there's no word. It's the kind of vision I'd need to write out.
Sure.
So
we'll let you know, Brad.
Yeah, and I think it'd be really good. I think he'd be a great Jedi droid.
Brad in the chat earlier, he was here. I don't know if he's still here, but he said he was stoned when he sent that. So that's great.
Oh, okay.
Love
Nice.
it.
Oh,
Love
we
it.
talked about that on the pre-show too. So many people listening don't have the context. I should say my fan fiction again.
We did this on pre. I thought we did.
No, this was in the show.
Yeah, this was in the main
It was
show.
main show?
Yeah.
Yeah, K2SO Unleashed, I think, was in the pre-show. Or not in the
I
pre-show.
thought I went
think it was
into
in the main
details
show.
in the pre-show.
No, because I did.
It's come up twice. It's come up multiple times that you
basically
have K2SO
he's on the
fan
planet,
fiction.
he dies or whatever, it blows up Cassian, all that shit, they get the Death Star plans. So his casing survives with like his servos or whatever,
Yeah.
and he gets found and sort of rebuilt, and he retains his personality, and they killed his only friend, Cassian.
Yeah. Now he's
And
mad.
he tries to find his way off the barge, and he tries to figure, he gets lost, he wanders around, and he figures it's Palpatine's fault, and the second Death Star is being built, and he's like, I'm going to learn the Jedi ways, and gets into a room eventually after various misadventures with Darth Vader, and offers to apprentice because he's become consumed with vengeance and dark side stuff.
Sure.
He doesn't have it all right, but that's sort of what's appealing about K2SO. And Darth Vader likes droids, so they kind of hit it off in a very weird, creepy way.
Has there ever been? You don't have like a sex scene planned or anything like that.
This is like literally a sex scene away from being actual like slash
No.
fiction.
He's gonna
because
be.
it's like he's everything. He survived being killed. He's gonna be a Jedi Sith robot hybrid.
Yeah.
He's
He's not a
checking
Jedi.
all the fanfic.
He's just a
boxes
droid.
except
The
chicken.
reason why he's a good candidate is because Palpatine's very powerful, and Vader knows. Droids can't be read, right? Like you can't feel him in the Force.
No, you can't have that.
So, and he really likes droids, so this is like his angle.
Yeah.
Because even though he has a turn and he throws Palpatine because of Luke, they're all Sith. He has a plan if Palpatine does things that he really doesn't disagree with, maybe, or for him to ascend to power. Because if there's no Luke, eventually Vader kills Palpatine.
Yeah.
Because that's always how it happens with Sith, and they always have a secret apprentice. I watched the Clone Wars. I know what Count Dooku was up to.
Sure.
And I know about, what's his name? Not Darth Maul, the other one.
Odie Mandrell.
Sauvage Opress. I think
Oh,
is
yeah.
his name.
Sauvage Opress. That's not like a Final Fantasy character I don't like.
It's Darth Maul's brother.
Yeah, it's
I
Darth
believe.
Maul's
Yep.
Is it really? Sauvage Opress?
Yeah.
Opress. His name is Opress.
It looks like, until you hear it pronounced, if you just look at it, his name looks like Savage Opress.
Well, no, hang on. So it's Sauvage is French for savage. So it's literally Savage Opress, but
That's
Sauvage
terrible.
Opress.
Freaking George Lucas bullshit. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Anyways, enough editorializing from the
I don't know if
hour.
that was a George Lucas creation. I don't know
It's
if
a
you
Dave Filoni
I
job.
don't
Was
think
it?
you could credit Lucas with that one.
I thought
I don't know. They were both.
Maul is his.
I think he had
Maul
sign
is
off.
his, but it's not like he invented his brother. at
Well,
the
I don't
same
know.
time.
Maybe he did.
He might have had sign off from George and Dave worked closely, so he probably had sign off.
Yeah, they made out and stuff. I heard they make out before they do stuff.
So
K2SO
it's not it's
watch.
and there's also Inquisitors, which are involved in the whole deal. So it's not that much of a stretch actually for there to be a droid apprentice and for him to think like this is my genius angle. Like Palpatine, I can protect myself from being read from Palpatine, and he won't know about K2. And also part of what happens with K2SO is like he's got to get a new body, so he's not going to have that crazy weird looking bow-legged body. He's gonna get like ninja shit like you see in the Ahsoka TV show where they have the robots but badass.
Sure. Yeah.
And maybe like those commando droids that were actually pretty good. Like they had in the prequels, they had various like actual good droids. They were still no match for the Jedi, but K2SO is no ordinary droid.
No, he's not an ordinary. Yeah, he's not your average droid.
It'd be a most badass storyline, and that they can keep milking that era for many more years. If only Kathleen Kennedy would offer me a contract, and we'll make that show.
Or just replace her. Have her step aside, and it'll all be fine. Well done, Beau. That's fantastic news. Keep workshopping it. We'll let you know. We'll let you guys know at home when this all kicks off. In the meantime, we are going to take our leave. Before we do, patreon.com/core show. We talked about John's special June episode. Do check that out if you are a patron. If you're not, that's how you can get it, and all the other ones we've done. Every month there's a host special. This is his, and it is happening now. It is out there. So check it out, especially if you're into Expedition 33. There are no commercials ever. There is pre-show content every week and monthly art in the mail for those who sign up for it. And you can only get any of this stuff over at patreon.com/core show. Huge thanks to people like Jamie P., Douglas Maxwell, and our most recent patron, Truthbringer. Oh, man.
Truthbringer.
Bringer of truth. It's fantastic. Anyway, having all you guys on board makes it so the show happens. Literally, it doesn't happen without you. So keep it coming. That's going to do it for us. Frogpants.com/core for all our other stuff. It's time for Grandma to tell us what games we played. Grandma. Hey, Grandma.
How hi. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here again.
She's really excited about that.
You okay, Grandma?
Here's the games they talked about this week. Castancello is the fishing game. Super Mario Odyssey. Red Faction Guerrilla. Re-Master-tered.
That's all right.
Stellar Blade, Magic the Gathering, Final Fantasy, the physical cards that you hold in your hand. Spilled with an exclamation mark. Sunderfolk, Elden Ring, Nightreign, Magic the Gathering, Final Fantasy, the kind you play on the computer. And Slay the Spire, the card game.
Oh, man. That's a good list. We're going to have it all up on the website, too, so don't worry if you missed it. We also try to put chapters in the YouTube archive if you'd like to see the video. And we record on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Come watch us live at frogpants.tv. That'll do it for us, for me, for Beau, for John. We'll see you next time.
Frog in Pants. If you're looking for something froggy smooth, find more at frogpants.com.
Reestablishing power to core and supplementary systems.